You're listening to Mixia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Park, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
Hello to all you Black Cat fans out there. This is Jeremy Sunday with Greer Time Media, here with Wallace High, Freddie Greer running the computer, and we're here at, they're not working.
Yeah.
We're not working.
Okay, now I can hear it.
Hello? Hello?
No, I can't hear yours. It's Wallace High, Jeremy Sunday, and Freddie Greer here, coming to you from Robinson Rocket Field. There it goes. Bear with us as we're trying to work out some technical difficulties right now. So we're getting all set up, and Freddie's working his magic on the rig. We're getting set for tonight's matchup between the Mexia Black Cats and the Robinson Rockets. Mexia comes in with a 2-1 district record. They're going to try to battle back off of a tough loss last week to the Conley Cadets. And we'll see the Robinson Rockets come out. And, we've heard a little bit about the Rockets this season. Not much. And we're over here, and it's a cold but fairly dry now night. We had a lot of rain and some bad weather last night, a little rain during the day today, but the rain's kind of pulled off. The temperature stayed down, and looks like the clouds kind of moved out. It's a little pretty calm and cold night here in Robinson. I'm looking at the goalpost, and they're rocking, so we can tell there's a little wind down there on the field. And we do have a little bit of time before, about 30 minutes here before kickoff. So we're just going to bring you a little bit of talking to you, getting ready for the game, get some things going and set up. Jeremy, I'm excited to see how the Black Cats are going to come back and try to bounce back after last week.
Yes, the Cats really didn't play bad last week. Cats played a team that was a little bit better than them. Mexia played them tough the first quarter, and just each quarter, Conley was able to score just a little bit more than Mexia was, and Mexia come back in the fourth quarter and made a game of it. But that's when you're playing number one teams in a state, you've got to come up with crucial stops, and you've got to come up with crucial downs when you're on offense to pull off that upset.
Yeah, and we saw a Conley team that came out, and they were big and they were physical, and they played like it throughout the game. Like you say, Mejia was able to stick with them and play tough that first half, and really throughout the game, Mejia played tough. But Conley was able to come out and kind of show their physicality and size and let that kind of take over the second half. And just looking out at Robinson as they were on the field warming up, I don't think they're as big as what the Black Cats saw last week. Just know from what we've heard and things that we've been told about the two teams is going to be kind of a different approach is what's anticipated, as Robinson's throughout the year been more of a passing team, more of that air raid, air attack team, and not so much as the power run that Mejia's seen. So it's really going to test the Mejia secondary and defense a different way than they've been used to so far in district play.
Yes, at one time this year, Robinson was ranked in the top 10. I want to say it was after the fourth or fifth game this year they had made it to the top 10. And like you just said, I've been told it's going to be more of a passing game for them. But however, the turf don't look too wet, but there is a 20 to 25 mile an hour wind coming from the north, and this field lays north to south. So you're going to have the wind in your face for a quarter, and you're going to have the wind behind you. And when the wind is as high as it is now, what happens is when that quarterback goes to throw the ball, that ball sails, and that's when it sails is when you have interceptions. So it's going to be a big night for the Black Cats to be looking for the ball and not playing the defenders. So if that ball is selling, they're able to throw their hands up and get their
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again,
Sorry.
please?
their hands on the ball and not worry about the defender as much.
Yeah, and I was over here last night, Jeremy, with the junior high kids, and that was one thing I did notice, especially when they were going into the scoreboard, into the field. When the ball got in the air, it's like that wind would catch it and just kind of knock it down out of the air. And so a lot of balls were coming up short of receivers, and kicks were falling out of the air, and you could tell that the wind played a major part. And so, like you say, with this field being built north to south, you kind of expect that the wind may play a big part in some of those plays as well on tonight.
Yes, Mejia has thrown the ball some this year, but on most of their plays, they're a ground and pound team. They fake it to Wiley or Jones, and then Proctor will take it up the middle as well. They like to do end-around sweeps with their inside wide receivers, and they throw the ball if they need to. Pretty much is how Mejia's offense. So in weather like this, you would think the weather favors Mejia in this matchup. But, when you're at home with Robinson and looks like, is it their homecoming? Are they all wearing mums out there on the field?
Looking out, I don't know if those are mums or pom-poms. I'm not sure. I see a lot of little girls with some streamers hanging down.
I don't see very many in the stands with,
Right.
so we're not going to say it's homecoming for Robinson, but
It's a home game, though, nonetheless.
and district, and this is a very pivotal game in district to see where your seats start lining up and who's going to the playoffs, because we have 7 teams in this district.
Right.
4 teams go and 3 teams stay home. Well, as of right now,
There's 6 teams still in that hunt, I believe.
there's Lorena and Madisonville have 3 losses apiece. And then you have Salado
Mejia
with
and
2, Fairfield with 1, Mejia with 1, and then you have Conley leading. So Conley, with that win last week, was able to put themselves in the driver's seat for district championship right now, even though there's quite a bit of ways to go, because Conley's playing Fairfield tonight over here in Conley, and that's going to be a big game.
Yeah, and over across town, that's going to be a big game. And I believe I seen somewhere pretty much saying if Conley wins tonight and beats Fairfield, they're locked in for one of those playoff spots. So I know it's going to be big for them wanting to go ahead and take care of business and making sure that they're able to get into the playoffs in this district, because, like you say, in a 7-team district, and you're at the point in the season where really all 7 teams still have a chance. Mathematically, nobody's eliminated yet from the playoff race, but there's a strong push right now for those 4 spots between 6 of the 7 teams. So
Yes, depending on how the losses and wins happen tonight in District 8, I believe, is going to decide if there's any teams out or not. The only team that I think can mathematically get knocked out tonight would be Madisonville, depending on wins and losses with everybody. But that still leaves you with 6 teams fighting for 4 spots.
right.
And as long as Mahia can pull this one out and they can pull one out next week, that pretty much locks them in for a playoff appearance. And the thing is yes, 4 teams go. However, you want to be one of them top 2 teams.
Yeah, because if you're in the 3 or 4 spot, then you're going to get a top team out of one of those other districts. So you want to kind of position yourselves well going into the playoffs so that you kind of get what most would guess or anticipate to be a favorable matchup for you going into the playoffs.
Well, I see now they've changed the scoreboard, so we're going to start at 7:30, and instead I was running late today because my company Woodman Life, we did a family event for the 55 and older crew. We went to Russ today and rode that train from Russ to Palestine. We ate lunch and rode back. So I was running a little bit late, and I walked out on the field, and I'm like, 60 minutes to go till we play. I looked at both of my watches to make sure that neither one of them was broken, and I got up here, and I mentioned it to you, and you acted like you hadn't seen that at all.
Well, they hadn't put the time up there, I think, until you came onto the field because Freddie and I had been setting up everything and then walked down that way, and there wasn't any time running on the clock. And then when you mentioned it and I looked down, I was like, oh, man, I guess they think we're starting at 8, but I'm pretty sure we're starting at 7:30. But they got it corrected over there. I think they were still trying to get their stuff set up as well.
Well, as we were just talking, with telephones, we have everything at our fingertips, and I'm sitting here looking at our district here, and we are Region 4, 2A, District 8. Conley leads the district 4-0. Fairfield, Mahia, and Salado are all at 2-1. So Mahia's already got their win over Fairfield, so a win tonight would put them up above Fairfield, with Salado coming to Black Cat Field next week. So a win tonight really puts Mahia in the driver's seat to control their own destiny.
Yeah, tonight's going to be crucial, and you don't want to look ahead of tonight, so you want to make sure you take care of business and get a win in that W column on your record tonight here in Robinson, and then you look into the rest of your schedule. These next 3 weeks are going to be pivotal for the Black Cats because all 3 of the teams that they're going to face tonight in the next 2 weeks are 3 of the teams that are vying for those last couple spots of the playoffs. With Conley right now sitting undefeated in the district, you pretty much can guess that they're probably going to get one of those spots. So you're looking at trying to fill those other 3 spots, no matter which way it goes in, which way you're ranked at the end. And you have Mahia, the 3 teams that they're facing for tonight and the next 2 weeks, and then Fairfield. And we already talked about Fairfield having to go over to Conley tonight. So that'll be interesting to see how that one turns out because, with a win by Fairfield, that would even a lot of things up in the district. And
that would throw a big monkey wrench into what they got going.
Right, and then if Conley ends up coming out on top over there, then it leaves Conley still up at the top of the district, and then 3 or 4 other teams, battling it out underneath them. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on tonight. We do have Salado and Madisonville going against each other tonight over in Salado. So that one will be interesting as well, just because Salado right now is 2-1 also, and they're sitting tied with Mahia and Fairfield in that second spot.
Yeah, so our 3 games that we have in district this week is going to be Fairfield visiting Conley, Madisonville's on the road to Salado, and, of course, the Cats are over here playing Robinson. And, Mahia doesn't play Robinson just a whole lot. They've been in the district a couple of times, but – I remember growing up, we played Marlin a lot out of their district. Marlin was a bigger school at that time, and they were in Robinson's district over here with a lot of the Waco schools. But we didn't ever play Robinson a whole lot in football.
Yeah, when I was in school, we had Robinson in our district, and so we got to play them, I know at least my junior and senior year. And one thing I'll say is Robinson's going to come out, and they're going to play Mahia tough. They don't like to lose to Mexia. We're not rivals or anything, and like you say, they're over in the Waco area. We're a little ways away from them, so we don't play each other all the time like we do some of the other teams on the schedule. But what I've learned is that they just really don't like to lose to Mexia. So they're going to come out and they're going to play tough and they're going to play hard. And, you don't expect anything different from any team in our district at this point. There's going to be some hard-fought games and some tough action going on out on the field. And I don't think that we're going to see anything different tonight.
Well, the one thing I will say of growing up is Mejia's always been pretty tough, even though we're a small school. And in preseason or when we went to the playoffs, we always traveled west. So all these schools over here around Waco, whether it's Lorena, whether it's Robinson, China Spring, Conley, La Vega, back in the day, we usually ran into them in the playoffs.
Right.
We had to go through some of those teams to get deeper in the playoffs. So maybe we're not complete rivals, but I can assure you there's not a team in Waco that wants to play Mexia.
No, and I say that, saying that we're not, right here in the Waco area, but we're very familiar with every team over here in Waco, and they're very familiar with Mexia because, and it's just getting – more and more so because you have all of the select sports and the summer leagues and stuff. Then Mexia, with Waco being the largest area, closest to Mexia, a lot of the kids come over this way to play sports. So they play against these kids basically year round in most sports, and so they get to know each other pretty well. And even though we've been in the same district with Robinson and some of the other teams. Here over the few years, and then there's gaps when we're not, but they're still seeing each other.
Well, the one thing we did play Robinson in basketball quite a bit in tournaments and preseason, but the one thing I noticed, as you said, they're not quite as big as what Conley was, but they have some big old boys out there.
Yeah, they have some good size. Overall team size, they're not as big as Conley, but just looking out there, they have some big kids that are going to get out on the field tonight. Just looking at it in warm-ups, we weren't able to see where everybody's going to be lined up. But we did see some good size. We're going to see some speed from both sides of the field, and we know what Mejia's going to bring out. Mejia's going to have pretty good size on both sides of the line, and they're going to bring out a lot of speed onto the field. So we're going to see how they match up with each other.
Well, it ought to be an interesting night because Freddie and I, we were at the JV game last night, and there was quite a bit of a shakeup last week in our athletic program, and we ended up having to combine our freshmen and JV due to some, I guess you could say, troubles that they were having with some students, and they lost some players. So I was thinking, Freddie and I had talked, they've got 2 or 3 kids on that JV that could help up here at varsity. So in the next couple of games, you're probably going to see some of them guys move up, because now they have the freshmen up with the JV, and they just have a lot of boys that's not getting to play.
Yeah.
And you hate to see, it doesn't matter what level it is, you hate to go to a game and just see kids week after week not getting to play if they're out there hustling and busting their tail, because the whole point of getting out there and practicing hard is to be able to strap it up on Friday night and let your number be seen on the inside of the lines.
Yeah, I noticed it looks like we may have a few more guys out there tonight with the team. It looked like our numbers were a little bit bigger than we've seen in the last couple of weeks. When they were warming up, of course, we didn't see everyone out there together, so it'll be interesting to see once they all come out and strap on the pads and get out there and line up on the sideline. But yeah, I can see where you mentioned that it looks like that maybe they've moved up some more kids and kind of combined some kids around. So, it's going to be interesting to see. You're getting at that point where you're towards the end of the district. Well, right now we're basically in the middle of our district, but you're going towards the end part of your district. So if you're in that position and start preparing for the playoffs, you start getting some of those kids up and ready that may be able to come up and help you and give the couple kids a couple plays here or there, a break throughout those games that are left.
Yeah, because right now what's really big and everybody across, from the level of the NFL, college football, down to high school football, you're getting into a part of the football season to where you got injuries, and everybody has them. So they're playing a key part. I want to say some of our defensive backs are out right now due to injury and won't be able to play until next week or the week after. And that's going to be pretty critical to where when you're playing a team like Robinson that likes to throw the ball, having missing pieces back there hurts you a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something we talked about. Freddie and I talked about on the way over here is the Mexia having to come out and making sure that they're as strong as they can be in that secondary. We're not sure who's going to be out there tonight. We did see some guys seemed like they had some injuries towards the end of the game last week, and we're going to hope that they were able to get healthy throughout the week and be out there tonight. But who's ever out there for Mexia, especially on that defense, they're going to have to be ready to defend the air, to defend the pass, anything through the air, and as well get to the quarterback. Because from what I've heard, I haven't seen Robinson play this year. I haven't seen film on them or anything this year, but I've heard the little quarterback that they have is pretty shifty and able to move around and then can throw the ball pretty well. So, it's going – the Black Hat defense is going to rely a lot on those defensive ends getting to the ball, the linebackers holding the middle, and the secondary really covering well.
Yes, the JV team really didn't throw the ball much last night. They did throw. They had one touchdown early in the first quarter with about 4 minutes left, I say early, that they caught a touchdown pass off of deep. But everything else they threw was bubble screens. And then after the first half, the wind had kind of picked up a little bit, and it was just a running show. And Mexia actually come back last night. Was probably the best game they had played.
Yeah, and like we say, it's going to be pretty much a different game this week. But what you want to see Mexia do is be able to defend well. Maybe come up with, you're on the road, so you want to see if you can come up with a turnover or two or more if you can get them throughout the game and get those sudden momentum change plays that'll help you get something going. I think it's going to be important for Mexia to come out early and quick today. Come out and get on the scoreboard, come out and really stand up tall on defense and kind of set the tone for the game, because you don't want to get in a shootout. You never really want to get in a shootout with anybody on their own home field.
No. The Robinson Rockets, from what all we've seen, has been doing mostly passing this year. And with this wind up the way it is, it really makes you wonder how much it's going to change their offensive game plan for the game.
Right, and all you can think is it's going to be important to see which end of the field each team gets and when they get it, because like you said, if you're going, I'm going to say that's probably north on this field into the scoreboard. You're going to be going right into a pretty strong headwind, and so I don't know. I'm pretty sure that wind will affect the flight of the ball if you're throwing into that all night, more so than it will when you're throwing with the wind behind you. It'll give you, but so you want to be able to get the right side of the field when you need it. I think it'll help Mexia since they have such a strong run game. But we'll see how it affects each team's passing game.
Well, for you fans out there that's been listening to us, it's Wallace High and Jeremy Sunday getting ready to bring you the Mexia Black Cats versus the Robinson Rockets at Rocket Field in Robinson, Texas. We're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
listening to Mixia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
As we come back to Rocket Field here, Mahia just got through playing their alma mater song, and now Robinson's playing theirs. Mahia has just reached the field, and they're in the midst of their warm-ups on this windy, chilly night. The good thing, though, Wallace, is we don't have no precipitation as of right now.
Yeah, you just want to, down on that turf field, you want to. I'm just wondering how much water and wetness you're going to have down on those rubbers underneath that field that you'll see as they get to running. But, hey, the good thing is there's nothing coming down out of the sky right now. And just looking down, there's no water on the top of the field. So hopefully it'll stay down and it'll be a good game, and the field will be good for both teams to get out and run and play on.
Well, Robinson just let their little Rockets run across the field as they're waiting on the big Rockets to come out of their tunnel. The little Rockets have made it to the other end zone, and Mahia's warming up. Last night I was able to catch up with a couple of players and just visit with them. And Wiley, I asked him, I said, man, what happened to that knee? I said, what did you do, try to get some ESPN airtime? He started laughing. He said, no, that he had hyperextended it earlier in the game. And on that one, he said, Jeremy, honestly, I think it scared me more than anything. And I said, well, that's good. I said, because we definitely need you out there. And he was walking with Trey Holdman. And I told him, I said, man, I just want to tell you, Trey, you had a heck of a night, and you had some awesome catches. Way to go get that ball. And just both of those boys were so humble. They just grinned and said thank you and acted like they hadn't done anything. So I will say one thing about our coaching staff is they've kept the kids grounded and even keel to not think that they've gone and accomplished something with just 2 wins in district.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that you want to make sure you stress throughout the week is you can't get complacent. You can't be satisfied with what you've already done. You got to come out and you got to stiffen up and play hard, because from here on out, it's going to be a job, and Robinson's going to come out and give you everything they have. And Mahia's going to have to do the same, to come out on top, because 2 wins isn't going to get you in the playoffs in this district.
No.
So you're going to have to buckle down, and you're going to have to take care of business from here on out.
And the one thing I will tell you that I have talking to Andrew every day, this coaching staff, they're not talking about just making it to playoffs. This coaching staff, until last week, was talking about winning in district. And what they told these kids this week was 1 loss doesn't take the district title out of us. What happens if someone else beats Conley? So that puts us right back where we need to be, guys. So what we have to do as Black Cats is go out and take care of our business that's in front of us, guys. And we have 3 games we're going to win. That's how he talks to them. We got 3 games we're going to win, and then we'll start working on that 4th game. But starting tonight, we're taking a game at a time, and we have to take care of Robinson.
Right, and that's what you have to do. You got to take it a game at a time. You can't look at the playoffs. You can't look at 2 or 3 weeks from now. You have to look at tonight, and you have to worry about tonight. And I think it's going to be important, and probably the most important thing for Mahia to do is to come out and execute what they do well, and not try to worry about what Robinson's going to do or what anyone else does. Just do what they do and do it the best that they can and take care of business that way, and then let the chips fall however they may fall.
Well, tonight is just going to bring you to another mental check here as you go through the year. You meet mental check after mental check after mental check, and when you first start the season, you run into the games, you get your first game, you're so excited, you have cramps. You have you getting tired because football is so fresh to you. Now we're getting into the middle way, and now the weather is starting to play a big. So when the weather changes, now it's another mental
Yeah.
break that, hey, I can't go out here and let the wind affect me. I can't go out here and let the cold air affect me. I got to put my chin strap on, and I got to go out here and play football and not think about the weather.
Right, and you have to be prepared in a different way also because, here in Texas, the beginning of the season, you're dealing with anything from 90 to 100-plus degree weather, and you're hydrating, and you're stretching to try to keep from getting cramps. And now you're going to come out here with the cold wind, the cold air, and you're going to have to get out here and you're going to have to stretch and make sure that your muscles are loose and warm so that you're not pulling anything or injuring yourselves for not being prepared that way.
Very true, and it looks like Robinson's fisting to run onto the field as Mejia continues to warm up over in the south end zone. And the wind tonight is blowing, like we had said, from north to south, and this field isn't laid north to south, which from growing up, it was a conversation that I always heard on KYCX, is that most fields in the state of Texas are laid north to south. Well, Mejia is one of those very rare football fields that is east to west.
Right.
So when the north wind is blowing, you have stands that block part of the field,
Right.
so it doesn't affect your throwing as much in the middle of the field. And here comes our Robinson Rockets down here to the bottom of the field, carrying the U.S. and Texas flag, and, of course, their Rocket flag. And the Cats are coming out with Dawson Scott leading the way on the other side. He's running into the north
big
wind.
north wind.
Dawson, don't get tired on us before the game starts trying to
Right.
mess with that big Mejia flag.
And that's just a testament as to what they're going to have to face tonight. Watching Dawson, who's a big kid, big, strong, well put together young man, run out that tunnel with that big Mejia flag that leads out the team every week. And he was struggling to get that flag down the sideline with the wind catching it and pushing it. So, in the way that flag was whooping and moving, that wind is strong down there.
Well, we have our captains have come out. Mejia has a number 11, JB, 14, Evan Harrison, 70, Arick, and 13, Jaden Proctor as your primary captains. They have Cooper, Deichler, and Scott and
Number 58
is their alternate. And then Robinson has 51, 34, 13, and 7 on their side, and then the rest of their team comes out as alternate captains as they're getting ready to coin flip here to see who's going to start the game. As you look down there, most of Robinson's boys on the sideline have arm sleeves on, and their captains don't.
Right. And that's something Freddie and I was talking about before the game is how you prepare, and mentally you prepare yourself for games like this. And I told him one thing I always knew. I'm a big guy, and running around, I knew I get hot and sweat easily. So when it was cold, I didn't care if it was cold or hot. I wasn't putting on a whole lot of clothes.
Well, as a skill player, I hated having anything on because Mejia has deferred to the second half, so Robinson will receive this kick. But I didn't like having sleeves on because once I caught the ball, I wanted the feel of the pigskin on my skin. That way I knew I had it tucked in.
Right. And you know what? And it's interesting, Jeremy, just like we were talking about, Mejia deferred, so Robinson chose the ball. And Robinson will have Mejia kicking north to south first, so Robinson will go into the wind first.
As we get ready for the national anthem here.
They'll get the ball in the second quarter going with the wind. We'll take a break as we bring you the national anthem.
as we come back to Rocket Field. Wallace, I think when I'm 80 years old, when I listen to the national anthem, it's still going to put goosebumps on my neck because, I mean, that was when you knew when that was played, it was time to strap them on and go put the hat on somebody.
Yeah, you know, and the funny thing is no matter what venue we're in, when the national anthem comes on, my kids laugh at me because I still pat towards the end of the national anthem. I still kind of start bouncing and getting ready, you know, and I'm just kind of like you. I'll probably be in a wheelchair rocking back and forth, thinking I'm going to strap on a helmet and get ready to hit somebody when the national anthem comes.
We talk coaching situations out here quite a bit. And the one thing that surprises me on that, even though Mexia deferred, Robinson gets to choose what side of the field they want the ball on. And being a passing team, it makes it odd to me that you're going to come out and take the ball on the first kickoff and you're going into the wind.
Yeah, all I can think is they want it in the second quarter, but I'm like you. I think they would have wanted it to get it going with the wind the first quarter so they can try to get something going at first.
So it'd be Martinez kicking off, and surely with the way this wind's blowing before it's over with, the ball's rolled off once.
Yeah.
He's probably going to have throughout the night periodically.
Oh, and he kicks it deep this time.
This is an odd play.
7, and the Black Cats get down to cover.
And it's a run up the middle to about the 36-yard line of Robinson is where he's going to be hauled down. And that's usually about where the ball is being.
Yeah, so, you know, it's not really much difference in the kick and the return spot. I personally like seeing it getting kicked deep every now and then, so I'm not going to say anything about it, you know, and it's about the same position, so it's not really much difference. So now we'll see the defense come out, you know, and Robinson's clad in their all blues. Mexia comes out in a black, gray, black uniform today,
and then they're starting with Scott, McNeil, Arick, and Wright is in there on this right defensive end to start this game. And Robinson's and they're just going to throw a little bubble pass out to the left. And there's a little gain of about 3 yards down there for number 11.
Yeah, and
for the Robinson Rockets.
We talked about it before the game, seeing some different guys out there on the defense and in positions, and it looks like they may try to take advantage of some of those different guys that are out there starting today. So we'll see. We've already seen a pass. We knew that they were going to try to go to the air, and we'll see how Mexia matches up against it.
Well, this time they got twins to the top, twins to the left, and they're going to fake it to number 2 and throw one out to the right, and it's going to be a drop pass. And that's just a tough situation right there. That you could tell the wind took that ball a little bit higher than what he was wanting it.
Yeah, and then the receiver took his eyes off of the ball trying to look upfield, and when that ball sails and you take your eyes off of it, it doesn't go right where you expect it to be.
So now Robinson's going to come out, and they got 3 trips to the top and 2 to the bottom here. And they're going from right to left. The wind is in their face, so that's a big third down for Mexia right here. They can get to the quarterback.
Oh,
there's just a run
screen,
but
and
there's
Mexia
nowhere for him to go.
No. Mexia sniffs that play out.
And it's going to be a loss of about 4 or 5, 6 yards there.
Yeah.
And that's a big stop for the Mexia defense.
It was third and about 7.5, and it's going to bring up 4th and 13. So, you know, that they emptied the backfield, put 5 receivers out, and they tried to run a little wide receiver screen, and the defensive lineman pushed and then read it well and got there, and there was nowhere for that receiver to go.
What was really odd on that play was they brought the wide receiver back in the backfield, which made him lose yards right off the snap. So now it's going to be a snap back to the punter, and it's going to be a kick into the wind. And Proctor's back to return that one, and he's just going to let it roll down about the 34-yard line is where Mexia will have their first possession with the wind at their back here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and that was a big stop for the Mexia defense. You know, they came out Robinson completed that first pass for about 3 yards, and then they went backwards for the rest of the drive. So now Mexia will get the ball, and we'll see what the Black Cats are able to do on their first offensive possession.
I was going to mention something about Mexia being on defense, and you know when Conley walked on the field last night, you could tell they had some big old boys, and on defense with Mexia's size they have up front, it's going to be tough for them boys to block our big boys with quickness up front. It's going to be a handoff to Wiley, and he's going to be stopped for a gain of about a yard.
Yeah. You know, and I'm looking out there, and Robinson's got some big guys on their defensive line. And so we're going to see how Mejia's offensive line stacks up with that, and they're able to block them and open those holes for those runners and Proctor back in the backfield. Mejia will come out in their traditional spread. We'll have Hullum and Harrison out down to the bottom, Clark at the top. Snap back. The give is to Holman.
And he's going to be snapped at the line. Might be a loss of a yard back to the original line of scrimmage.
And that time you had Holman and Wiley in the backfield with Proctor, and they just strung it out to the short side of the field. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for the Black Cats. We're going to look to see what the play call is going to be. You know, like we said, Robinson's big up front in a couple spots on that D-line. So we're going to see if Mejia's offensive line can move him around and open stuff up for him.
It's just a roll out to the left for Proctor. He's
He
going to hit it.
throws it,
and it's
and
going to be a heck of a catch by Holman on the sideline for a first down there.
And that was a great route by Trey Holman as he and Prince Banks ran routes. Looked like they were running next to each other, and then you seen Holman just gear down and break back to the ball. And Proctor put it right on his numbers, and he caught it and got out of bounds for the first down.
So now we have Hullum, number 10, down here to the bottom, and Holman up top with 2 tights. And I think that's Deichler and Harrison in there, and that brings Holman in order. And Wiley comes in right behind him, and they're going to corral him about a yard loss.
Yeah, and right now it looks like they tried to run a little misdirection with it, and Robinson wasn't fooled by it. They got some good push up front, and they were able to get to Wiley before he could get out of the backfield. And then Mejia's going to look over to the sideline to get the play. Robinson trying to get their defense together. Mejia moves up to the ball. It's going to be Wiley and Proctor in the backfield.
We snap back to Proctor, and he's going to roll out to his left. And he jukes one, and he's running up the sideline, and he fakes a couple out, and he comes across the field. And he's broken out to the right, and he's
got a lot of green
45,
grass.
40, 35.
Out at the 34-yard line.
And that's Proctor just being an athlete right there.
Yeah, he rolled out to his left looking to pass the ball, and Robinson defended it pretty well, and he just drifted back a little bit and let him get out of position. Then he took off up the sideline, and then when one man thought he got him, he cut back across the field, and he was able to make a big gain out of what looked to be a play that may have been stopped in the backfield.
What was real big there is he didn't pivot and roll out real far back. He was able to cut and keep moving upfield on that and break across. So that's the one thing that you got to defend for the Black Cats is all the speed they have. And they're back in the 2 tight, and it's going to be a handoff to Wiley.
No,
and there's a fumble.
Proctor keeps it, and he's down on the ball. Looks like he lost his footing on that play as he decided to pull it and keep it himself up the middle. It'll be a gain of about 3 yards. You know, and that's one thing when you have to respect a quarterback's speed and their feet as much as their arm, it opens up some things, you know. And if Proctor's able to hit that a couple times and it softens up that defensive rush, then you'll be able to get some runs and some other things happening. Mejia comes up to the line. You'll have Wiley set deep, Proctor and Holman. And Proctor keeps it again, and he's hitting the backfield that time for a loss of about a yard.
As that ball come out late, they're saying he was down. That brings up a 3rd and 9 for the Black Cats.
You know, and the Black Cats are on the Rocket 33 right here. You want to –
if you can get 7 or 8 yards here, you can go for 4 or go on 4th down here.
Right.
The main thing is you just want to pick something up so it makes the 4th down a little bit smaller.
Yeah, right now you're probably outside of field goal range, so you want to get some positive yards.
They're trying to get Robinson to jump off here. And
and it's going to be a false start on the Black Cats.
That's the one thing. You get them big guys down there and trying to draw people off sides, and it's hard for them to sit there.
Yeah, your big men are sitting there, and they're holding, and they're hearing the claps, and they're hearing the cadences, and they're watching the defense jump and flinch at them. And sometimes they're not able to hold their water for the whole time, and you get a flinch from them like we did just then. But Mejia will come back up to the line. It'll be 3rd and about 15.
Snap back, and Proctor drops straight back, and
He rolls out.
he just
throws
throws
it
up
away.
to throw it out of bounds.
And that's not a bad play. Throw it away and
throw it away.
don't take a loss of yards. Yeah. You know, and that'll bring up 4th down, and the ball's at Robinson 38. Right here, you're outside of field goal range, but I think you go for it on 4th down.
I
Maybe
think
take a shot at the end zone or something.
with the way the wind is, I think Mejia will probably come out and punt this ball with the way we've seen them play so far this year. And I may be totally wrong because it looks like he's leaving his offense out there. But
I mean,
here,
now we have the
when that 5-yard penalty happened, that really
Yeah.
changed a lot of difference in how you wanted to play that.
and we'll get Hullum back to punt with the short yardage, and Mejia
Of
will
course,
try.
that'll be a delay of game on Mejia.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing in this situation because it'll move you back. It'll give you a little more room to punt the ball down. Mejia's going to try to pin the Rockets inside the 10.
And what's so funny is Robinson could have declined that right there.
Yeah, they could have, but, they accepted it. So now Mejia will punt with the ball being snapped from the 43. It gives them 5 more yards to try to pin inside the 10 and not
Looks
go
like
into the end zone.
Robinson's coming after this kick. And it's going to be off the side of his leg. And it's going to be down at about the 30, 25-yard line.
it's still rolling. The 24-yard line. And that that punt shanked off the side of his foot and looked like it wasn't going to do too much, but it ended up rolling for about 9 yards.
He punted for a 1st down.
Yeah, and that's the one thing when you're coaching and making those decisions, you have to kind of weigh what's going to happen.
And the rush wasn't tough, so he just rushed that kick a little bit.
He just missed it off the side of his foot. I mean, it was a good snap. He didn't bobble the ball or anything. The rush wasn't there on him. He put the ball down. It just looks like the ball didn't land square on his foot when
Robinson's
he
going
kicked.
to come out with trips to the bottom, one to the top, and man in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff.
No, quarterback keeps
keeper.
it. And that's holding and there's no flag thrown.
Yeah, that inside receiver, they're going to get Mejia for hitting them out of bounds late.
They didn't. That was a clear holding on number 9, Miller, right there as he came up to make the play, and the receiver just grabbed his shoulder pads and yanked him around, and no flag came out. But then the Mejia team got a personal foul with a late hit out of bounds. And, that's another thing Mejia's going to have to be able to do is keep their composure and play smart, disciplined football. You don't want to give up those penalties like that. You just gave 15 extra yards after the play that they didn't have to run anything on. And it puts the ball inside Mejia territory now.
Well, we have Robinson coming back to the line of scrimmage, hit trips to the top and one to the bottom, and number 2's in the backfield with Robinson. We'll get you some names with that. And Mejia's on defense.
Snap back, and the quarterback keeps it again.
And he's run right up the middle.
Before he's hit, and it's a gain of about 6 yards right there. I'm going to say 5 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 5 from the Mejia 44-yard line.
Hey.
And Mejia's going to have to hold tough here. They've gotten the ball over into the Mejia territory. Defense is going to have to stand up. You have to kind of expect that Robinson's going to run the ball here with going into the wind. Not much happened very much.
That's the play Conley run on Mejia all week last week.
Yeah, and that's all they're doing right now is they're overloading one side and letting the quarterback run through the middle by Miller. But the quarterback picks up a big gain down to the Mejia 14-yard line.
And that play right there is just a play straight out of Conley's book from last week.
Yeah, and we saw it so much, and all they're doing is loading up, and they're just running power, letting the running back go through and lead block, and the quarterback's following him. Mejia's going to have to combat that and figure out what they need to do different to be able to stop it.
Big Aric Medlock there at the stop on with about a gain of 1 for for Robinson. Big Arick said, not this time.
Yeah, you know, and that's what Mejia's going to need more is that defensive line changing the line of scrimmage negatively for the Rockets and pushing them back and playing on their side of the ball and getting some of those stops like that.
We got trips to the bottom, one to the top. It's just going to be a
Handoff to number two, and he's
Just
stacked up
stacked at
again
that line of scrimmage.
by big Eric Medlock, and it's like a wall. You run into that young man, and you're probably not going to go too many places.
Yes, when he wants to play,
Yeah,
there's not too many that can stop him.
and you know, now you're down close to about the 12-yard line, between the 11 and 12-yard line, with second and about 8 here.
Yeah,
Or actually, it's going to
be.
be 3rd and 8, and Mejia's going to have to. There's a receiver out there that's uncovered for the Rockets. I'm not sure if Mejia doesn't see it. Oh, now they do.
Oh, and a little crossing right coming around, come wide open, and it was behind him. And that's
Yeah.
going to bring up 4th down for the Rockets.
Yeah,
And
it was a throw that was just behind the receiver.
you would think going into the wind that they're going to go for this on 4th down.
Right. I don't know how their kicking game looks, but they'd be kicking the ball into a good strong wind.
So that'll bring up 4th and 8 for the Rockets. And
And they're going to line up in their regular offense. Mejia again is covering out. Robinson checks with their sideline to get the play. And now we're going to get a timeout by Robinson as the play clock was running down.
we'll take you to a Black Cat timeout, and we'll be right back at Rocket Field.
Today's game brought to you by Eagle Auto Parts, located on Main Street. For more information, visit eagleauto.com.
You're
Today's
listening
game
to
brought
Mixia
you by
Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and
As we come back to Rocket Field, Wallace, it's 4th and 8 for Robinson.
Right, and with 4:36 left in the first quarter, the score is still 0-0, with Robinson knocking on the door there at the Mejia 12-yard line with 4th and 8. So we're going to see the Mejia defense have to bow up and stop. If they get a stop and can get the ball back here, it'll be big. Oh, and Robinson's going to run out their field goal unit now.
This will be really big if he's going to put this in and get 3 points going into the wind right here.
Yeah, and it's going to bring up about a
Mejia needs to watch for a fake here.
29-yard field goal. And he gets it down, and it's up, and, oh, it sneaks in.
It went through the
Yeah,
upright
right.
and faded all the way to the right.
And it got up, and it just died. That ball got up in the air, and it looked like he struck it pretty good, and it was going to be a big boot. And as it got to the uprights, it was moving to the right, and that ball pushed, barely crossed the uprights, and then pushed outside of them as it went through. And then the ball just looked like it hit a wall and came straight down. You know, you had the little kid that catches the field goals after the attempts every week. He was set up probably where he's normally used to catching the field goal come through, and he had to take off sprinting forward to try to get to the ball because it just died as the wind caught it and knocked it down.
So that's going to put Robinson up 3-0 to start out the game with 4 minutes and 31 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and you don't want to see any points put on the board against you, but that's actually a pretty decent win for the Black Hat defense of being able to hold once Robinson was able to get in the red zone down there and not give up a touchdown. So now, again, with them kicking into the wind, Mejia should be expecting this kick to be pretty short. And there's no telling where that ball might go once it gets up in the air if they decide to kick it up.
It's going to be one of them situations where they might have to get an up back to come up and hold
Yeah.
the football. And that's one position you don't want to play on a night like tonight.
Oh, yeah. And that's what's going to happen as he tried to reset it and it blew right back over. You know, and now we've seen the Mejia the Mejia kicker as well as the Robinson kicker have troubles keeping the ball on the tee when they tee it up for the kickoff.
You can tell they're not used to this because Robinson's so confused on what's going on.
They're trying to give pointers to the guy holding the ball. They're trying to get kids lined up right. We're
They're
not
gonna
really
end up
sure.
with a delay of game.
Yeah. Oh, and they get it away, and there goes the ball as it dies. And smart move by Evan Harrison was just fair catching that ball.
I think what Robinson was scared of, if there's a new rule in football that you have to have so many players on one side and so many on the other. And the Robinson coaches were a little confused because the guy that was holding the ball come from the opposite side of the kicker, so they didn't want to get a penalty to start out the drive.
Yeah, and so they had to move somebody over there, and then that guy looked like he was the one that may have been supposed to be the one holding it, so he kept running up, and they were able to get the kickoff, but they were pushing that clock running out on them. And Mahale take the field for their second offensive possession with Proctor and Wiley in the backfield. We'll have receivers down to the bottom, one to the top. Looks like we'll have double tights. Snap back, hand off to Wiley, and he breaks a tackle, and he's up the field for about 3 or 4 yards. This is going to be a gain of about 3 yards on that play.
And then one thing about Wiley is we're not used to not seeing him break a long one here in the first
Yeah,
quarter.
you know, and right there, he was a shoestring away from maybe getting one then. But you have to expect that through the season, everybody's seen film on the Black Hats, and they see how good of a runner he is. And so I'm pretty sure the keys are going to be on him all night. And that's what it looks like right now. Each time it looks like there's about 4 or 5 guys flying to wherever he is on the field. And
there's going to be a quarterback keeper as he fakes it to Holman, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield for about a 3-yard loss. So that's going to bring up third and about 11. It looks like every play Robinson's pretty much knows what Mejia's doing right now.
Yeah, they're just spying the quarterback and the running back right now. You know, this might be the time where you want to see Mejia open it up and throw the ball down the field a little bit to try to soften that defense, because just looking right now, they have 8 or 9. They're walking up the free safety just about into the box too, so they're really playing about 9 people in the box. And that makes it tough for –
And Proctor's going to return back across.
And he's looking to throw. And he throws it back, and it's
It
caught by
Holman. It's
Holman.
going to be caught for a first down for Holman, but there's going to be a penalty with a man downfield.
Illegal man downfield, yeah.
That's the problem when you start running around as a quarterback. Your linemen think you're going to run,
Right,
so
and
when
they're
you
trying
pull
to
up
block.
and throw, they're downfield trying to block for you. And Sandoval's out there wanting to know, hey, where is our defensive holding at? 2 of our guys were being held, and
you know, and even Hullum, as he came across the defense on that play, he came across one man and he just grabbed him and yanked him, and Hullum was still able to make the catch. But once that ball's in the air and you're that far downfield, the defense isn't supposed to be able to put their hands on you.
well, now it brings up third and about 18 for the Black Cats. And that's the one thing that's really hurt the Cats this year is getting behind the sticks.
Yeah, and right now we see receivers out. We're going to line up, still in tight.
It's going to be a snap back to Proctor here with double tight. Looks like it's going to be an illegal motion on Mejia. And this looks like one of your games earlier in the year to where Mejia just could not stay out of their own way.
Right. And right now we're going backwards, which is never a good thing when you're on the football field. It's going to bring up 3rd and 21 now. You don't have many 21-yard plays drawn up.
And now you're closer to your own end zone, so you really can't pull out too much.
You want
and Robinson is stacking the box. They know a run is coming, and hey, we're gonna go up the middle, and they pitch it outside to Wiley, and they're just keying on Wiley.
Yeah, and he's able to rumble forward for about 7 yards on that run, but there's not a lot of open grass for him to run right now for with the Robinson defense looking like they've made up their mind that wherever 5 and 13 go, that's where they're going to go. You know, so you're going to have to open it up and get the ball in some other playmakers' hands and see what some other guys can do here through the night.
We got Banks back to receive this snap for a punt. And he
gets off a
crushes
booming
one with the ball
kick.
behind him. And they
Fielded it,
fumble
and he
it,
drops it. Oh,
and he's able to pick it up and recover it and gain about 3 yards on that.
then there's some extra pushing and stuff, but there's not a flag thrown.
Well, the one thing Mejia's got to know is when we're playing
Yeah.
these Waco teams, it's
You're
the
not-
Waco chapter refs.
right.
So you're not going to get those calls that you might get earlier in the year when you're not playing Waco teams.
Right, and that was a great punt by Prince Banks. That was
able to flip field position.
yeah, and Robinson's going to start at their own 23-yard line.
So as Robinson comes out, they're going to have twins down to the bottom and twins to the top, and number 9 in the backfield with number 2, their quarterback. No, or number 9's their quarterback with number 2, the running back.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be a
It's gonna
straight
be a straight quarterback run.
and he's going to be stacked for about a 2-yard gain.
Yeah. Looks like they'll give him 3 on that one. And you got to think that they saw something last week, and that's what Robinson's coming out trying to do, is just trying to load it up and let the quarterback run in behind some blockers.
Yeah, because when you got the wind blowing in your face like this, you can't throw the ball much. There's a minute and a half left for them to have the wind in their face. But he's going to be a little
option to the right, and he pitches it out. And there's
going to be a good game for Robinson.
The running backs.
That should be enough for a first down. And it looked like Dawson was going to be able to get outside on that, and he just got jerked straight to the ground.
And just watching it, and we hear it all the time. You can call holding just about any time on every play on the line, but when they're in open field and a man's setting up to make a play on the ball carrier and getting yanked around, you expect for a flag to come out.
It'll be a snap back, and the quarterback's going to keep it, and he's
There's
just
a little RPO action, and then
there's
another
holding,
holding, and we do get a flag that time.
On that one. It actually was a holding and turned into a block in the back, and we got another flag on the other side of the field. So we're going to either have 2 flags on one team, or we're going to have offsetting penalties. And this flag came in really late on the opposite side of the field.
And it's clear holding when it's right, and then you have the Robinson coach picks up the flag.
But the flag on the other side of the field can't be off of that because he.
No. And when it's that clear and you're open the field and a man's going to make a tackle and you just grab him, turn him, and then push him in the back to keep him from getting there.
And those are the penalties in games like this when the wind's blowing that it really hurts you.
Yeah, because
especially if both flags are on Robinson. We got a block in the back.
It looks like that's what they're going to accept.
So you mean to tell me that ref on the far side of the field threw a flag for a block in the – well, we are in Waco. That's all I can tell you. There's no way he's seen that play.
No. Maybe he was just throwing it down in support of his other.
That or the coaches chewed his tail off enough to make him throw it. But, yeah, there's no chance he saw that penalty.
And so that's going to bring up, first and about 20 –
22.
21, 22 yards for Robinson on this. And they're trying to get the signal in from their sideline.
We got 51 seconds and time rolling right here in the first quarter. We got Mejia down 3-0 to Robinson Rockets as they were able to kick a field goal into the wind on their last drive. Now they have twins to the top, twins to the bottom, and number 2 in the backfield with the quarterback. It's just going to be a straight handoff,
and he's blown up. Big Eric Medlock just whooped the man in front of him and hit the running back as soon as he took the handoff.
Surely that's going to be the last play of the first quarter. Yeah. Coach don't want to run another play into the
wind. It's going to bring up second and about 24 now for the Rockets.
As we bring the close to the first quarter, it's Wallace High and Jeremy Sunday at Rocket Field bringing you the Black Cats against the Robinson Rockets. We'll take a break and we'll step right back.
is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
All right, as we come back to Rocket Field, it's the beginning of the second quarter. Mejia trails Robinson 3-0. Robinson has the ball, 2nd and 24. As the snaps back to the quarterback, he drops back for the pass. He gets a rush. There's a catch by number 3, and he's run out of bounds up at the Rocket 37-yard line.
That'll bring up a 3rd and about 8, 7 or 8.
Yeah, and that was a big gain on just a crossing route again that time. And he was able to get enough time as he stepped up around a rusher and got it to his receiver. You're gonna get trips to the bottom.
We got quadruple set down here.
Oh yeah.
Mejia's gonna have an offsides here. Is with Robinson having the wind to their back, you can tell now.
Now they're gonna throw the ball and try to get the going. And it looks like they're running up there. They're getting set, and they've emptied out the backfield, and looks like they're gonna go into that spread air raid. And
it's going to be an offsides. It's not enough to give them a first down.
No, so it'll still bring up 3rd and about 3. And you get Robinson's coming out. The quarterback's giving the signals. Mejia's defense is matching up.
So we have
a man in motion. We got split backs. Ball snapped and handed off. Oh, and Mejia meets him in the backfield. That's a big play, big loss by number 2. T.C. Kennedy and Dawson Scott got back there as they tried to bring the man who came in motion, set him up, and tried to give him the ball, but they sniffed it out and brought him down for a big loss.
Let's see what Robinson does here.
They'll bring up 4th and 9. Looks like
they'll bring the punt team on. Or if they'll.
It looks like their punt team comes out.
Well, we have a lot different.
They have
tonight, Proctor's returning punts.
Oh, and they have a little close. And Proctor drops it. He picks it up, and then he's blown down. Tonight we have Proctor back there returning punts, and it's usually Holman. So. We'll see. We'll see what's going on or just maybe there's a change that they felt that they can make this week to let Proctor try to touch the ball a little more outside of being quarterback. But it's a little different approach. That was a good kick that time with the wind behind him from the punter for Robinson. And Mejia will take over this possession at their own, looks to be about 17-yard line. And we'll see what Mejia comes out in this time. We'll have Hullum down to the bottom. The receiver up at the top. You have split backs.
And this will be Mejia's first time playing into the wind.
It'll be a handoff to Holman as he's brought down right at the line of scrimmage.
Mejia needs to move the ball outside a little bit on
right,
this, I think.
Yeah.
Robinson's got everybody inside.
Yeah, they're playing 9 men in the box, and right now Mejia's trying to run straight through the middle, and your numbers aren't in your favor when you're doing it. So we'll see if there's some adjustments made here. Snap back to Proctor. The give is to Wiley.
He breaks one up the middle.
Oh yeah, and he breaks it, and that's a face mask, and no flag is thrown.
And he breaks
keeps
loose.
running.
He's gone. He's on the 40, the 30, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Wiley.
And he got face masked there about the Mejia 30, and it seemed like he was going to drag him down by the face mask. There wasn't even a penalty thrown. There's no flag on the field, and Wiley just kind of bucked and yanked his head away from him. and then got wrapped up by another guy and just kept his legs moving and drug him for about 7 yards until he fell off. And then it was just a sprint to the end zone, and we know when Wiley's sprinting, there's not many people that are going to catch him.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. We normally see that usually in around the first quarter, but he saved it for the second quarter tonight, and that's going to give Mexia a 6-3 lead right now with the extra point pending. And
Mexia comes out in just a traditional field goal formation this time. Snaps down, kicks up. Oh, and
the extra point.
That should have been roughing the kicker.
Unless they're saying that ball was tipped.
I don't think the ball was tipped. The man rushing off the edge just ran and plowed through the kicker, and there wasn't a flag thrown at all. And Sandoval is irate out on the field. You took the kicker out on the play. There's no flag thrown. And the extra points missed on that. And Sandoval wants an explanation from the referees right now.
The only way that was not a penalty is if the ball's tipped.
Right, and the way the ball came off, it didn't look like it was tipped because it got up. He got the good strike off the ball.
It was about a 70-yard run there.
But he, when you get hit, his body snapped around and pulled the ball wide right. But I'm with you. The only justification they have is to say that the ball was tipped, but I'm not sure that it was on that.
That or they could say he got blocked in, but there was nobody blocking in that kid. He coming around the end like he was shot out of a rocket.
Yeah, and he just leveled the kicker.
So now that'll be Mexia kicking off from right to left, be kicking into the wind for the first time, leading now 6-3. And that's a kick up in the air. It's going to be a fair catch, and they are able to corral that in on a good fair catch by number 23. That right there shows you how important that field goal was because their field goal was a lot further out than that extra point, and the wind is blowing so hard down there.
Yeah, that it just literally he wasn't able to get his head drive his hips through the ball after because he was hit. So as soon as that ball got up in the air, the wind caught it and snatched it to the right.
I'd like to know what the referees reason for not throwing a flag there was because after every game these games are shipped up to UIL for them to review the referees, and I was told last week that it was very clear that with the way Conley played dirty that tape was sent to the UIL to show that allow of extracurricular activity go on after
it's a handoff to the running back and
of course
again big Eric Metlock just grabs him and snatches him down. And Eric gets his arms around that running back, and he just snatches him to the ground like it's nothing.
So now, this is 2 weeks in a row we've watched one of our players get jerked around by a face mask, and then a kicker get taken out, and just no penalties.
And there's going to be a snap back to the quarterback, and he's going to hand off. And it's just a flea flicker back, and the ball's on the ground. And there's a holding, and there's a wide-open receiver, and then he's down. I'm not understanding why there's not a flag been thrown against Robinson. And that time it was a flea flicker. The ball's on the ground. Dawson Scott came off the edge and then just got grabbed and yanked backwards by the lineman. I mean, you're not blocking somebody from behind them. You're just grabbing their jersey and pulling them to keep them from getting to your quarterback. And there's not a flag coming out of the pockets of the officials. And here the quarterback keeps it, and then he's brought
not going
down.
Anywhere. That's big Arick again in there, and Scott on the other side. Scott had the running back going nowhere, and Arick grabbed the quarterback, and there was no going anywhere.
In the game today, there's such a stress on protecting the players that's the officials' job. And when you don't throw flags on blatant penalties and fouls by a team, then you put those kids at risk of getting injured. It's going to be a snap back to the quarterback.
He drops back.
And he's crossing route again to number 7.
Cooper's
got him, and then 2 more Black Hats come and finish him off.
It'll be a gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards there on second down. That brings up a third and about 5.
Yeah. So Robinson comes back. Looks like they'll have a single back set.
8 minutes and 18 seconds with the time clicking here in the second quarter. Robinson has the ball at their back. They look over. They were trying to get Mexia to jump off sides with a quick count. They look over to get their play from the coaches as they have 10 seconds left on the play clock here.
Looks like the coach is going to call a timeout as the clock's running down. Oh,
Are they going to have enough time?
there's going to be a timeout for Robinson. The play clock had gotten
As
down to 1.
We have a timeout on the field. We'll bring back Black Cat football in just a few minutes.
Today's game brought to you by Eagle Auto Parts, located on Main Street. For more information, visit eagleauto.com. Today's game brought to you by Eagle Auto Parts, located on Main Street. For more information, visit eagleauto.com.
All right, and we're back here at Robinson Rocket Field, and Robinson offense takes the field. They're going to have the ball at the Mexia 21-yard line with 3rd and about 5. It's going to be a snap back. They got a tight bunch set.
And there's holding right there.
Yeah, and then quarterback just takes on, and there's another holding. And
Touchdown,
it's gonna be a
Robinson.
You know, that time there were 2 holdings against Dawson Scott and Eric Medlock to keep him from the quarterback. Nothing was thrown, and he was able to rumble to get in the end zone.
Well, Robinson's going to take the lead now. That'll put them up
9 to 6.
6, and they got an extra point coming. And I just want to run through some scores while we're getting ready for that. Fairfield's leading Conley right now 14-6 in the second quarter. Kick is up.
And it's going to sneak in.
It snuck in. Madisonville and Salado. Salado's leading 7-6. That's going to put Robinson up 10-6 here. Tiggs down 20-7 at home in the start of the second, and La Vega's up at halftime 20-10 over China Spring. That's a closer game than normal. Maypearl and West are tied at halftime. Or no, it's in the second quarter. Grandview's beating McGregor 20-5. Elkhart's leading Crockett. Franklin's up on Trinity 21-0. Dawson's leading Frost 28-0.
Oh, man.
Mart's leading Hubbard 26-0. Wortham's leading Meridian 8-0 in the first quarter. Milford's beating Penelope 26-0 in the first quarter. And Coolidge is down to Avalon 16-12 in the first quarter. And as we get through with them scores, we're going to come back to the booth, and Robinson's going to have to get somebody to hold the football once again.
Yeah, and they're setting up the kickoff. And
you know, the thing about these calls is these calls that we're talking about are not down in the trenches to where that's blocked. These are just out in open field. That
right.
They're allowing Scott come around the right end, and that guy reached in the back of his jersey and just pulled him straight to the ground. I mean,
you know, and they're plays that are happening right in front of officials, and you expect for those to be called, and they're not getting called. And you know, you can want a penalty on every play, and that ball is going to carry into the end zone for a touchback.
So Mexia's going to start this drive on their own 25-yard line.
You know, and we're talking about it, you know, and we're talking about missed calls and everything, but you know, Mexia's going to have to know that they're playing against it right now, and the calls aren't going their way, so they're going to have to step it up and play even a notch higher, and the defense is going to have to come with it.
Can't worry about the calls. You just got to go play ball now.
Right, you know, and we saw a big play from Wiley like we've grown accustomed to seeing on that last possession. We're going to see if Mexia can answer back that Robinson touchdown here and get another scoring drive of their own going.
Well, now they come up with man on each side, Jones and Wiley, and it's just going to be a handoff to Wiley to the left, and he's going to be upended right at the line of scrimmage with a gain of maybe 1 here. If that one block if they could have got to that one block, he had another open spot to go.
Right, you know, and like we say, he's like one man away from being gone again. And so, you know, right now it's the first half, seeing if Mexia can get something going and established. And from that point on, then we're going to see what can happen. Robinson answered Mexia's scoring drive. Mexia has to come back and answer now.
So Proctor's in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to Jones as he's running around the
Oh,
right
and
end.
he
He
has-
breaks open, and he's going to be taken down by – that was a good tackle by number 23.
23 was able to get underneath the blocker and just
He was actually being blocked,
Right.
and the blocker just pulled up on it. If he'd have kept pushing him, Jones would have had a heck of a run there because he was the last man to get to him right
it's
there.
going to bring up 3rd and 4 right now for Mejia as Robinson makes a sub on their defensive line. We're going to see a third down play right here for Mejia.
Mejia has twins to the top and one to the bottom.
Oh, and it's an errant pass. It was just the pass was off mark for the receiver on that. It's going to bring up 4th and 4. And on this end of the field, you got to pretty much expect Mejia's going to punt the ball away. You know, and it looked like Mejia had a little something
Mejia
developing out there, and the pass was just outside of the receiver.
Robinson
to where
had
he couldn't
traded a
catch.
couple of off our defensive linemen out and had probably the smallest defensive line that they'd had on any play out there. It would have been easy to hand off that time and get your first down. But we're punting here, and that's going to be a
and it's
bad
that
punt.
the wind. Oh, and it hits
It hit him. Mejia,
Mejia-
get on the ball.
You know, and that punt, that ball got caught in the wind, and the wind blew it back. It hit a Robinson player, and then none of the Mejia
Just watched it. as
cover
Rob-
men got on it, and it allowed Robinson to get there and cover it up. You know, those
the
are
kind
those
of breaks
chances
you
and
gotta
opportunities that you need to take advantage of when you're on the road and you're trailing in a game.
You got to have your heads up and know what's going on.
You know, and at that point too, you'd hope the rest of the people on the field are yelling to them to get on the ball. But that ball only traveled maybe 10 yards on that
Robinson
play.
comes up with trips to the bottom and twins to the top, and the quarterback's just
Drop
dropping
back.
straight back.
And then he's flushing out, and there's an incomplete pass as he just threw it away as the defense was coming up to him.
Right here, if somehow Dawson Scott could get a push to the outside and
Just come back
and
underneath.
curl back, come back
Yeah.
inside, it would be an open shot for him because
Right.
he's quicker than that tackle right now, and he's beating him to the back.
Yeah.
But he's got to be setting him up for that going to the outside and coming back in, and he will have an open shot to
Right,
number 9.
and the thing with the ends, they're getting pressure up the middle, but you have to get pressure from the middleman too, because the quarterback's just being able to step up. Oh, and the quarterback pulls it, and Juwan Wright's flushing him out, and he overthrows the receiver. Oh, and
you
where
knew that was coming.
that's a play on a receiver going on the
Unless
ball,
they
and he
have a
just
man
tackled.
downfield.
That can't be a play. That can't be a penalty on the tackle.
No, they called it on the
Okay, it's going to be
Robinson,
ineligible
illegal
man downfield.
But what was funny is you saying that he was looking over there at that play when
Right,
he threw that
when he
flag.
threw it. That's why I thought he was throwing the flag on the end of the play, where it was just a Mejia defender finished the play and tackled the would-be receiver. So that's going to move Robinson back another 5 yards
If Mejia
if
accepts it.
Mejia accepts it, and it'll make it 3rd and 15. Looks like Mejia may accept it and make
You
it
know, that's
2nd
the-
and 15.
That's the thing with football these days is when you have a hard hit, you hold your breath because you never know if
Right.
it's going to be a penalty coming out because they're trying to take the severe hits away where people are not protecting themselves. But that on that one, they have to hit that guy or he's going to catch that ball.
Right, and it was just a good play by the Mejia defensive player, and
that's
the ball
just
the ball was thrown high by the quarterback, which kind of stretched out the receiver.
And that penalty right there is just one in where they thought the quarterback was going to throw the
Right.
football, and he didn't throw the ball.
And then he started running, so the linemen start trying to block. As we get a snap back here to the Robinson quarterback, and he tries to run
And he's hitting the
option,
backfield.
and he's just hitting.
Oh, the ball comes out.
Back.
Number
and
2 has the ball. Let's see what
and
they're going to
Mejia,
call here. And they're
I think
gonna
Mejia
give to
has
Mejia.
it as
That was just a
TC
rip-up.
Kennedy just wrapped up the ball once the quarterback was in the defense's arms, and he snatched it away from him.
That was just, I want the ball more than you want.
You know, and that's one of those plays we talked about Mejia needing, those turnovers to get sudden momentum changes, and they'll get the ball here in Robinson territory at the 47-yard line. And Mejia's offense will trot out on the field, and you want to see the offense get something going here and get some more points on the board before half. this is where you can take advantage of the fact that you deferred at the beginning of the game, because you can score here and then get the ball back again after half and try to have a chance to double up your points.
So we got Jones and Wiley in the backfield with Proctor. Let's see if we get a snap back. It's just a handoff to
Wiley.
That's Jones.
That's Jones.
He one, and he's going to gain about 5 yards. Good.
Yeah, and that was a good run by Jones. As he just kind of hit the pause button on the defender and then took off again around the left end and picked up a nice little gain on first down.
That's the one thing about these backs. You never know which one's going to be on either side of Proctor.
Right, and they both run the ball really well.
Jones is more of a stand-up, hard runner, and Wiley is lower to the ground and make a couple of cuts and be gone. And it's going to be a handoff to Wiley up the middle, and they're going to have
he keeps running,
moving, and it's going to be enough for a first down.
It should be a first down.
That's just the kid wanting to run the ball hard right there.
Yeah, the defender grabbed him, and he just kept churning his legs and pushing forward to make sure he got that first down. And those are the plays that you want right there. You want those 5-6 yard tough runs, and they move the chains for you. And now you get a fresh set of down, and you have a chance to run some more clock and get some more yards and try to get in the end zone. We'll have the same thing with Wiley and Jones in the backfield with Proctor. Holman out wide.
It's going to be a snap back to Proctor and a handoff to Jones, sweeping around the left end.
And he ducks inside for about a yard or
3
two.
Yards. Looked like he was on the 35. They're going to mark him a little short there.
Yeah. And he was able to just cut inside that defender and move it up the field for a couple yards. And like we say, there's just good hard running right now. And, you see the offensive line starting to move those defensive linemen now. As the game goes on, that's going to be a big key for Mejia and something to watch to see if that line wears down on the defensive line of Robinson.
And Robinson's just stacking the box. And Wiley breaks loose.
And he's
going out to the 20. He's at the 15, and he's going to be drugged down about the 14-yard line.
And it's another good run as he just got in behind his lineman that was pulling around, and he put his hand on his back, and as soon as that lineman picked up that last block, Wiley exploded through the line of scrimmage.
They just grabbed him by the back of his jersey. And
that linebacker was close enough to reach out and grab the jersey, and he kind of went for a ride for about 7 yards before he got him down. But if he gets through the second level, then there's probably nobody going to catch him on that play.
Yeah, that was number 24, which he's been playing strong safety on the other side that was able to get across the field and get to him. As Mejia comes back up with twins to the bottom, it's going to be a handoff to Jones up the left side.
He jump cut, and he's still on his feet, and he's in the end zone.
He's in the end zone for a Black Cat touchdown.
And that was a great strong run for Jones, as he was able to jump cut away from a defender and just get his shoulders and pads down and keep churning and get the ball into the end zone.
Well, Mejia comes back out in their swinging gate.
Now they go into a traditional field goal.
And we talked about this last week.
And we against that win, I'd probably try to go for 2.
And we've got a different kicker here.
Yeah, now we have the right-footed kicker, and that could be because the Martinez may have been hurt on that first extra point attempt. And here again, we have a player diving out at the kicker's feet.
And that was a made field goal.
Yeah, that extra point was good that time.
Extra point, I'm sorry, fans out there. It's 13-10 now. Mejia leading with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in this ball game. And Wallace, this game is exactly what we had talked about.
Yeah. It's
back and forth.
It's going to be back and forth, seeing who can stop who. And right now, the last 2 possessions for both teams, they've been able to get the ball up and down the field and get points on the board. The difference has been Mejia's gotten it into the end zone twice, and Robinson had to settle for a field goal once. But it's 13-10. It's 3:33 left in the quarter or in the half. So you want Mejia's defense, if they can come out and they can shut down the Robinson offense right here, they have a chance to get the ball back at the beginning of the second half, or get the ball back before half with a chance to get points on the board and then get it back again at the beginning of the second half. So it's going to be important to see what Mejia is able to do here on the kick and then on the stop and then when the defense comes out.
Well, looking at some scores, Conley has scored a couple of times to take the lead 19-14 over Fairfield. and Salato's leading Madisonville 15-12. Those are big games that we had talked about in our district. And Mejia's taking the lead 13-10 here. And this is Martinez kicking off, and it's just going to be that high in there. And they're fighting over it. And that's something that, as a Black Cat fan, you want to see. But as a Rocket fan, you're like, hey, I want one guy taking that ball.
Right. They both called fair catch, and they both went for it, and it had a chance to be disastrous, but they were able to hold on to it between the two of them. And because Mejia was right there waiting for the ball to fall.
This is a big drive for Mejia because Robinson's got the wind behind their back. They're down 13-10, and Robinson knows that when you come out in the second half, Mejia gets the ball to start with. So Mejia's got to come up with a big stop here to have the momentum going in at halftime and knowing that, hey, I've got the lead and I'm getting the hammer in the second half.
Right, and we saw those last two possessions, Mejia being able to get some big blocks and move the ball. And so you want your defense to pick it up here so those big guys on offense get another chance.
We got
to
twins to the top, twins to the bottom.
Snap back, straight run by the quarterback, and he's wrapped up by Jawan Wright.
Mejia has adjusted on their offensive line, our defensive line and linebackers, and that play's just not getting them the yardage it got them on the first couple of drives.
And right now it looks like Mejia's adjusted when they're having a single back there with the quarterback. Those ends aren't flying up the field; they're just holding contained and then and reading the play and making the tackle when they can.
So now we got twins to the top and twins to the bottom once again. Snap back, straight drop back, and he's being rushed.
And there's a tackle on Eric Metlock was just tackled to the ground.
And he's going to run out of bounds with about a 3-yard loss, it looks like. But we just don't have flags for offensive holding in this game.
Right. And Coach Sandoval's over there jumping around and wanting to talk to the line judge about why the flags aren't coming out. You've seen Eric Metlock push the middle of the line then and just get tackled and laid on by like 3 linemen.
Well, now it's 3rd and 8, and the Black Cats, Robinson's come out and twins to the top, twins to the bottom. They're trying to get the Cats to jump, but they were held serve, and now 9 is back there with another play. And snap back is just a straight drop back.
You got the run.
And he's going to be grabbed.
Jawan, right? He gets out of the hold. Oh, and he goes down. And that's going to be an intentional. That should be intentional grounding.
Honestly, I really thought he was down before he threw it, but either way, it's going to hurt them.
Right. He's either down there for a loss and is going to bring up 4th and long, either way, or he's down there with the penalty and is going to mark it back from the.
Call it intentional grounding.
It's going to be a spot foul, so he's going to be.
On that situation, he had not gotten out of the tackle box. If he was out of the tackle box and he goes and throws that ball, and as long as he gets it past the line of scrimmage with a man in the vicinity, he's fine there.
Right, but I don't think that ball even got back to the line of scrimmage.
He didn't throw that ball for about 4 yards, and he was about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So the Black Cat defense did exactly what they needed to do.
Right, and they're going to give their offense a chance here. With it being 4th and about 20.
And we got Proctor back to receive this.
They're going to give the offense a chance to get the ball back again, and with a chance to possibly put points on the board before the end of the half as that kick goes and it hits the ground. And Proctor's letting it roll back towards the end zone. And Robinson's going to down this ball at the 1-yard line.
What a kick by the Robinson punter.
Yeah. It was a great kick by the punter. You want your return man to feel that one. Don't let it roll down there. Because with that wind, it's going to hit that turf and roll.
Once again, Trey Holdman has done an awesome job returning punts this year.
Well, we don't know what the situation is.
And for some reason, he's not back tonight, and he's been your #1 punt returner all year. And now the Black Cats are going to start on the 1-inch line. This is one of them. Now you've got to get the ball out of the end zone, or they're going to end up with a safety and get the ball back with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. So now your offensive line has got to come out and just push and get you out of the end zone.
Yeah, you had a chance of getting good field position on that change of possession and moving the ball down the field with 2:30 left. Now you're going to have to make something happen.
See, this is where you like your quarterback up underneath center. Let's push and get 2 or 3 yards. Let's get pushed 2 or 3 yards, and let's get us some time. We got 8 seconds left on we're going to have to call a timeout.
And it looks like they were just going to try to bait them into jumping off sides. And, the clock's not running in that situation. I understand the thought process, but you'd like to have something to run without burning a timeout here with 2:30.
Yeah, right now you're not thinking about going and scoring, though. Your
Right.
main thing is
You're
just
trying to
get out from your end zone.
You're trying to get away from that end zone to get away from a possible catastrophe or a safety or something worse. So,
Yeah, in that
anything
position-
you can draw up to get away from the end zone
In
is
that
what you need right
situation,
here.
you've got to tell your man to catch the ball in the air, even if
Yeah.
it's off the bounce once. We cannot be down where we are right now.
Right, and you have to know right now with the wind as high as it is,
But the momentum for the ball is going to be going.
the ball's going to carry off the foot of the kicker, and then once it hits the ground, the wind's going to help push that ball and let it keep rolling. And that's all it was. That ball rolled for almost 20 yards just then.
Like I said, it looks like the nose of that ball is right outside the goal line. And you've got to get outside the goal line here. You can't be tackled in the backfield at all. So Proctor's going to take it back with Jones and Wiley.
Jones motions out. Get up, get out of the end zone.
And he gets out of the end zone. It was a broken play from the
Yeah.
start. As the quarterback went one way and there wasn't a running back
Right.
over there. So,
He had sent that running back in out to the flats.
but he was able to get about a half a yard on that.
Yeah.
So
You get about 2 feet more of breathing room, but you're still in the shadows of your own end zone. So you on this second down play, you're going to try to get away from that goal line.
So Mejia breaks huddle, and they come to the line. They're going to have twins to the top. Wiley on the right and Jones on the left. Big play here with Mejia with the ball trying to get out of their end zone. And it's going to be a snap to Wiley around the right
yeah,
side.
and he gets out,
And he
and
breaks,
he breaks loose.
He breaks loose, and he's going to get across the 15-yard line.
You know, and that's enough for a first down, and it gets them away from the end zone. So now you have more breathing room. The clock's at 1:38, and it's holding while the chains are moved. And Mejia's going to run some players in, and now you can start thinking about getting yards because you got some breathing room. You're away from the goal line. You can try to move the ball down the field. With 1:30 on the clock, you have enough time. You still have 2 timeouts left.
The main thing is just don't have a turnover.
Yeah,
here.
you don't want a turnover in this situation. If nothing else, you run the clock out, and you know you're getting the ball back at the beginning of the second half.
You don't want
Snap
it.
back to Proctor, hand off to Jones, and he cuts back.
And he's going to pick up about 4 or 5
Yeah.
yards there. Good play.
You know, and as he keep moving, it looks like he picked up maybe 6 on that one,
They're
Jeremy.
going to call holding on Mejia. Are you –
And
hey, there is holding calls in this game.
you know, and it's funny that you see it called at the end of the run. You know, they threw the marker right where the man was tackled.
And, you know, I'm not saying there wasn't holding there. Throw your flag both
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. You know, the penalty count's probably pretty much one-sided if you go and tally it up in this first half.
The main thing is Mejia still is not backed up to their lineup. And, hey, let's just run the ball. And we got 1:10 left. Let's get us another timeout or another first down. And
Right.
And go in with a 13-10 lead and be glad you got a 3-point lead.
Right. You know, and you know that you have a quick strike offense. At any time you can make a big play as Mejia comes up to the line and send a man in motion, snaps back, hand off to
the middle,
and he breaks loose into the open field.
and he's going to pick up about 25 yards.
Yeah, and he's brought
And
down
now
to
you gotta
the
call a
30, the
timeout.
38. Yeah, then Mejia does. They call a timeout
That
with
one
42
play-
seconds left. That one play gives you life. You can. You have to know with about 2 or 3 seconds. Oh, and the clock's running. Mejia's going to keep rolling with the first down. Snaps back, hand off to Jones again, and he's through the line, and he's still on his feet running, and he breaks outside. And he's yanked down.
Whoa! How
Hey,
is
and
that
that's-
not a penalty?
That's after the play. They have a man comes and cleans up one of the players out in the back. You know, Mejia's holding on to their timeouts right now. And snap back to Proctor. He's looking, and he's throwing the ball down the field. Oh, and he gets caught up in the air. And
Prince makes a heck of a catch at the 27-yard
You know,
line.
and right there, Prince Banks became a basketball player. He just blocked out the defensive back and went up, and just like a rebound, he went up and got it at the highest point and snatched it out of the air for another first down. And Mejia calls timeout with 15 seconds left. And you got to think that they're thinking about at least getting an attempt for a field goal here at the end of the half. You know, and it's good to see Prince Banks get in on the action. We've been talking about it the last few weeks. And he's a big kid out there at receiver, and he uses his body well.
Top-notch athlete.
And he done that just right there on that play. As the ball was thrown, and you know, and Proctor reached back and threw that ball down, and the wind just killed it.
That's the one thing that professional players say nonstop is they like their kids to play all different sports. Because every sport teaches you something about the next sport.
Right.
For instance, basketball right there. You're taught to block out to go get a rebound. All Prince did was block his man out and go get a rebound.
It looked like he was just going to run past the defensive back, and then the ball died, and he just pivoted open and put his hips and his butt like you're taught when you're rebounding on the defensive back, and then he went up and snatched the ball out of the air. And it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Rocket 27-yard line here for Mexia.
So
it's going to be a snap back to Proctor. He rolls to the right, and he looks, and he throws. And it's dropped.
That's something you don't see very often by Holman. He's been sure-handed all year long, and I'm sure that ball is pretty hard, as cold as it is. But you got to make that catch and get out of bounds. Yeah,
you want to focus in on that ball because that would have moved the ball about 10 more yards up the field. And as he was open and he was trying to tiptoe on that sideline, you want to see him just gear down, make the catch, and step out and move the ball up. And so here the clock stops with 11 seconds. You got to think Mexia's going to take one more shot and try to get closer. Oh, and Proctor, he's –
timeout, Mexia.
You got to call a timeout if you're Mexia, and they do. Proctor tried to reverse field that time, and he was tripped up. Oh, and they just let the clock –
Why did we just –
I'm not sure. We had a timeout.
We had 2 timeouts.
Mexia allowed the clock to run out on the half, so that's going to bring us up to halftime. Score, Robinson 10, Mexia 13. And we'll take a break, and we'll be back.
Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer & Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
Today's game brought to you by Eagle Auto Parts, located on Main Street. For more information, visit eagleauto.com. Today's game brought to you by
Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
As we come back to the booth, Mexia just finished their
The halftime band
show.
routine.
And Robinson's coming out. We'll go over some scores. Normally we have some stats for y'all, but our statisticians weren't able to be in the box with us tonight, so we're pretty much winging it. I'll tell you what, we got some scores here. We have Stephenville is playing number 6 Brownwood tough, 21-16 at halftime. We have La Vega 21-10 in the third over China Spring. Whitney's pulling away against Tig 32-7. Mexia's leading at halftime 13-10. Brownsboro and Rusk are in a high-scoring game. Rusk leading 30-21. Conley at halftime's leading Fairfield 26-14. Salato's leading Madisonville 22-15 at halftime. Belleville's beating Caldwell 20-0. Maypearl's leading West at halftime 10-7. Grandview's leading McGregor 20-5 at halftime. Crockett's leading Elkhart in a close one 7-6 at halftime. Franklin's beating Trinity 28-0 at halftime. Dawson is putting it all over Frost 42-0 at halftime. Mart's winning 33-0 at halftime. Wortham's leading Meridian. It shows to be a first quarter score. Sure, it's not still in the first quarter, but it's 22-0 Wortham. Milford is up on Penelope 42-6 at halftime. And a shocking score is Avalon's leading Coolidge 52-26. As in the last couple of weeks, Coolidge had beat 2 top 10 schools, and they find themselves down at halftime today.
Yeah, and that's again when we talk about that 6-man football. It can turn 52-26 can be 80-70 something here in the next 6 minutes over there in Coolidge.
Yes.
But yeah, Coolidge is having a pretty good season over there. We like to give a little shine to those 6-man teams because they sometimes get overlooked. But they're our neighbors. They're about 15 miles down the road. So we like to make sure that we give them a little acknowledgement when we are able to. Listening to our district scores, there's some good games. Fairfield and Conley, it's a 26-14 game over there, a 12-point game going into the half, and we know that Conley's a good second-half team. So we'll see what Fairfield's able to do as they come out after halftime against the Conley Cadets. And then the Madisonville-Salato game seems like it's a good one over in Salato. It's a touchdown difference right now at halftime, and we've seen Madisonville this year, and we know what they have. And, Salato's traditionally a solid and well-coached team. So, it's not a surprise that they're playing good football down there. But That's going to be a good game down the stretch, we hope, and we'll keep a check on those scores, especially since they're in the district, and it's going to impact what the Black Hats are able to do as they're here in a close one with the lead 13-10 over Robinson at halftime. Through the first half, it was kind of a tale of the quarters and who had the wind at their back, Jeremy.
Yes, field position played a vital role in that, and the punts when you had the wind behind you, and Mejia did it to Robinson, but Robinson there at the end of the first quarter was able to pin Mejia way down, and you've seen that getting pinned that far deep really hurt the play calling for the first couple of minutes of that drive, and Mejia was able to break a couple of long runs, but when you're on your own inch yard line, there's not too many plays that you can dial up to get out of there without getting caught with holding in the backfield and get a safety or just being tackled back there.
Right, and like you said, those punts, you could just see the difference. The first quarter, Prince Banks got a hold to one, and it looked like probably about a 50-yard punt, and then it came out in the second quarter, and Mejia was going into the wind, and Prince put one up into the air that probably only traveled about 9 yards after the wind blew it backwards.
And that one was one that hit one of the Conley linemen as they were running downfield, and Mejia was not alert enough to jump on it. They actually, I think they realized it happened, but they didn't know what to do with it when it happened.
Right, and we were able to also tell with the simple fact that going into the wind one direction for Robinson in the first quarter, they just kind of deferred to letting the quarterback run the ball a lot that first quarter, and then in the second quarter they came out and they got more into what we expected, that spread offense, air raid, throwing the ball around the field when they had the wind at their back.
Yes, and we commented last week on how big Fairfield's band is. Robinson has a huge band here at halftime.
Yeah, Robinson's traditionally always had a very large band. And they're usually one of the better bands in the state of Texas. And we like to make sure these are all students who participate in extracurricular activities. So we want to make sure that the bands are acknowledged because they are just as much a part of the game as anybody else. And they're putting on a great show. Mejia's band was able to come out and run through their show to start the halftime period and entertain the fans. And now Robinson's band is doing the same. And one thing I wanted to make sure that we were able to. One thing I was able to bring up. I wanted to bring up during the halftime is that you were able to see Mejia's strength. As the first half went on, as the second quarter went on. We were able to see the offensive line from Mejia start to lean on that Robinson defensive line and start moving the ball. And then you were seeing Jarrell Wiley and Trey Jones be able to break some runs as they were able to find holes and get up and get big gains for positive yards. And, the beginning of the game, everyone comes out. They have their adrenaline, their energy's up, and the fatigue levels are down. And so Robinson was kind of stacking the box, and they were stopping the runs at first. But as the second quarter came about, Mejia started getting back to the
1 or 2 yard runs started turning into 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-yard runs. So.
And then that one man being able to stop them wasn't stopping them, and they were getting big 20, 30 yard runs and then turning into those breakaways for 50 and 70 yards for Mejia. And so that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on in the second half to see if Mejia's able to just keep leaning on that line and wear them down. Because, like you said, it did look like the Robinson defense began to get tired, and Mejia was able to start moving the ball kind of how they wanted to. And with the exception of being pinned back so deep, they were still able to move the ball down the field. They just ran out of time in the first half. So they're going to get the ball when we come back after halftime, and they're going to get a chance to come out and keep that going.
That's going to be Robinson's going to come out and want to stop it, and Mejia's going to come out and want to score it to have the hammer there.
Right, and and that's what Mejia is going to need. They're going to need to come out and kind of drive the ball down the field in whichever fashion they're able to and put points on the board. So, and that'll just increase their lead. And when you're going against a team like Robinson that can put points on the board, you want to take advantage of every chance you get to put points on the board on your side of the scoreboard as well.
Yes, and Robinson is putting on a heck of a show here. They have twirlers that are twirling guns. They have flag ladies, and man, they've got every instrument I think you could have in a band.
Right, and it's good to see kids out participating in the extracurriculars, and not everybody's an athlete. So some kids are able to find their niche in other things, may it be band or something else, and it's good. We talk about it every week, how we like to see the bands perform at halftime. So it's good to see a band come out and have the numbers that the Robinson Band has in it. And as they continue to perform, we're going to go to another break here, and we'll return towards the beginning of the second half with more Mexia Black Hat football.
Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
eagleauto.com. Today's game.
You're listening to Mixia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
As we come back to Rocket Field, we have the Mexia Black Cats leading the Robinson Rockets 13-10 here in a battle of Division II 4A. District 8 Mexia Black Cats and the Robinson Rockets was an awesome first half, pretty back and forth, and Mexia Robinson kicked a field goal. Mexia come back and scored to take the lead, and then Mexia come back and scored to take a 13-10 lead and put the Black Cats in prime position to start the second half with the ball and able to put more points on the board to go up by 2 scores. The wind has played a big role in this game, as the wind is blowing out of the north about 20-25 miles an hour, and it's a constant wind, so it's never stopping. And Robinson's thrown the ball a little bit with the wind to their back, and Mexia's pretty much just moved the ball on the ground as they have most of the year. I think Jaden Proctor completed two passes in the first half for a total of around, I'd say, 47 yards. And Robinson's had a couple of completions, but Mexia has stopped them on the ground. Starting about midway through the second quarter, Mexia took over on defense on the ground and was able to stop Robinson from moving the ball.
I want to go back with that run that Gerard Wiley had. Was a 70-yard run?
Yeah, he broke through the middle, and it looked like he was tackled 2 or 3 different times, and he was able to just bust loose. And before it was over with, he was tackled. Well, they had him about the 50, and it looked like he was going down, and he made one more hop. And he shrugged that tackler off, and he was able to go the distance.
Yeah, what about the run with, let's say Trey Jones?
Trey Jones had a nice run, too, as he was able to make a couple of quick stops.
Well, we're going to go and take a quick 30
Here we
second
go.
commercial right quick. And we'll be
Trey Jones was able to make a couple of quick stops. He fed off his blockers, broke a couple of tackles, and rumbled into the end zone for about a 14-yard touchdown run, which was pretty impressive.
Very nice run.
Well, we have 5 minutes left before we start the game. Let's get our sponsors in, and I want to thank them for sponsoring us. Mookie's Barbecue out of Coolidge. We were at the Napa Auto Store this past week doing a prediction show. We got Greer Time Media, Greer Mobile Detail. Joe Fridays is where we might be this week on the prediction show. And, of course, Woodman Life with Jeremy Sunday as a sponsor. We're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back to bring you some Black Cat football.
To Mixia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
as we come back to Black Cat Field, as we're here at Rocket Stadium, the Black Cats are coming back on the field as they're leading out the Mexia, the Texas with the M on it, and the word spelling for Mexia. And Mejia's got a 13-10 lead here, as most of their damage was done on the ground. And Robinson's getting ready to come out as their drill team's lined up to welcome them onto the field. And we got about 30 seconds before we're lining up here, and Mexia will be receiving the ball here as Robinson comes on the field. And Mexia had won the toss in the first half and deferred to the second, and they'll be receiving the ball. It looks like they'll have the wind behind their back to start this third quarter. And on a night when weather is really a big factor, this is really big for Mexia to be up by 3 and take this opening kickoff of the second half and put some points on the board. That would put them up by 2, and they'll have what you call the hammer. And the way their defense has played, it's been really tough tonight, able to stop pretty much anything Robinson had going except for one drive. So we'll see what we have transpiring here is Robinson will be kicking off from right to left. They'll be kicking from the southern end zone to the northern end zone into the wind. So let's see what Mexia can get going here to start the third quarter. As they come onto the field, Mejia's coming out, and they look all excited and hyped up. And Robinson's coming out, setting the ball up on the tee, as they've had to have help holding the ball up each time they've kicked tonight. But so far, the ball is standing on its own, as we got 12 minutes left in the third and 12 left in the fourth to see who's going to pull this one off in District 8, Division 2, 4A. Chin straps are on, and here we go. The whistles have blown, and Robinson's kicking off to Mexia right now, and it's going to be an onside kick. And the ball's out on the ground, and Mexia recovers it on about the 41-yard line, and Mexia got lucky there. They were not expecting an onside kick. And, of course, into this wind, it really makes a lot of sense why you would do that. But Mejia's going to have good starting field position with the wind behind them on their own 41-yard line as Robinson comes out on defense, and Mejia's still huddling up on their sideline. Mexia comes out. They're going to come out with two running backs in the backfield, 2 twins down here to the bottom with Proctor, Jones, and Wiley in the backfield. And there's just going to be a handoff to Wiley up the middle, and he's going to gain about 3 yards on that play, which is what they did was brought Jones in motion over here to the right to bring a linebacker out, and they just hand off to Wiley, and he gains a total. Looks like it's going to be a gain of about 4 yards there. Bring up a 2nd and 6 as we still have 2 running backs, Jones and Wiley, in the backfield. Proctor, they send Jones back out, and it's going to be a handoff to Wiley again around that right end, and he's carrying a Robinson Rocket, and he's going to pick up about 12 yards on the play and be enough for a Black Cat first down, as there was just one defender over there, and Wiley come around that end, and he grabbed a hold of Wiley and jumped on his back, and Wiley took him for about a 12-yard ride. Good thing Wiley wasn't charging on those rides. But now they line back up, and Proctor's got Jones and Wiley with him in the backfield. And there's going to be a handoff to Jones up the right side, and he's going to fight through a tackle and pick up about 3 on the carry, and to bring up a 2nd down and about 7 as Mejia's just lining up and running the ball right at Robinson to come out in the third quarter. We got twins down here to the bottom, which is Harrison and Holman, and Jones and Wiley in the backfield with Proctor. It's going to be a snap back and a handoff to Wiley around the right side, and he runs straight through, and he's taken out after he picks up enough for a Black Cat first down. He's hit low and just is flipped up in the air. And like I said, doesn't pick up for a first down for the Black Cats once again as they continue to move the chains coming out here in the second quarter. They come out with twins to the bottom and Jones and Wiley beside Proctor. And it's going to be a snap back and just a hand around the right end of Wiley. And he busts through again. He's going to pick up another 10 yards here as they found holes in this Robinson defense to come out the second half. They've adjusted some of their blocking up front, and Mejia's picking up good chunks of yardage on each play right here. They've driven the ball down to the Robinson Rocket 22-yard line. As Wiley's come out, and they're bringing in Cooper as running back. Mejia's going to come to the line of scrimmage, and now it's going to be Proctor flanked by Jones and Cooper, and we keep our twins down here to the bottom. He's going to snap back and hand off to Cooper, and he jumps through the middle, and he's just pushing for, looks like about a 3 or 4 yard carry. As it didn't look like there was much there, and Cooper was able to jump over a tackler and move the ball forward for about a 3 yard gain. Mejia staying in the same offensive set. They got twins to the bottom with Cooper on the left side and Jones on the right side. There's going to be a snap back to Proctor and hand off to Jones up the middle, and it's not going to be much there. Gain of about 2 yards, which will bring up a 3rd and about 5 for the Black Cats. As this is sure enough should be 2 down territory. 2 down territory for the Black Cats here, as they got a 3rd and 5 on the Robinson 5-yard line. And Cooper takes the, and he's up the middle, and he's going to be tackled for about a 2-yard loss. So that's going to bring up a 4th and about 3. As Mejia looks like they may go for it here. Yeah, 4th and about 4, maybe a 3 along 4 here. And Mejia's going to line up and trips to the top. 1 down here to the bottom with Proctor and Wiley in the backfield. It's a big stand as they're going to bring Harrison in motion. Snap back and hand off to Wiley up the middle. And he's going to have enough for a Black Cat first down at about the 11-yard line. So that's going to make it 1st and 10 for Mejia to able to pick up 1 more first down without having to score. Wallace, we have just pretty much grabbed the ball and run straight at Robinson and moved down the field.
Yeah, I was able to peek up some of the beginning of the drive while I was in line down there, so I was trying to hustle back down here to get in on the end of it.
Wiley up the middle makes 1 cut and a shoestring tackle at about the 9-yard line.
Yeah, and he's a shoestring tackle away from getting in the end zone on those last 2 plays.
There was a huge hole there, and that guy just straight dove down the line and grabbed his back foot as he was taking off running and was able to get him. If not, that would have been a straight walk into the end zone and a Black Cat touchdown on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter. But we are sitting here at 2nd and about 8 with Wiley behind Proctor. And it's going to be a handoff. No, Proctor keeps it. And he's about the 4-yard line, and the ball comes out. Now let's see where they're going to mark that ball at. They're going to throw a flag.
Yeah, it looks like Black Cat was able to pick up the ball when it can't jar it loose. And waiting to see what this flag is going to be.
I wonder if they're going to call it a legal forward pass.
I mean, but when you're that far down the field, he's not passing the ball.
Yeah, but you can't fumble the ball forward to another player. And
well, it should have
on purpose,
right?
It's going to see what these other refs decide whether it was on purpose or not. They're going to wave the flag off.
Because I don't think he did it on purpose. I think the ball was just knocked out while he was trying to reach forward.
On the 4-yard line, you sure ain't doing anything on purpose.
Right.
You just want to hold on to the ball and give your team another chance to score.
And so the Black Cats will have it 3rd and 3. They will have a chance to get a first down if they can get it to the 1-yard line.
And surely this is 2 down territory. I know you have the wind behind you, but you've got to score touchdowns in this game, especially when you got a chance to go up by 2 scores. And that's Wiley up the middle, and he's going to at least going to have a first down.
And that's a touchdown.
Touchdown, Black Cats.
He just kept churning, and a couple of those big linemen got behind him and just pushed him on in the end zone.
that is exactly what Mexia needed to start out the second half, is to get the ball, walk it down the field, and give their guys a chance.
And then now they're going to move from the swinging gate back into field goal formation. And looks like number 50 is going to come on to do 50 or 58 is going to come on to do the kicking again.
It's going to be a snap back to Holo.
Kicks down.
And it
ball's
is up. It is good.
Good.
And that puts Mexia up 20-10 with a two-score lead now. With 6 minutes, Dave Mexia was able to hold on to the ball there for 6 minutes and just drive it down the field on run after run after run.
Right, and and that's what we talked about at halftime of what Mexia needed to do was to really, insert their dominance in this game and say, hey, look, we know we can run the ball. That's what we're going to do. And, from the looks of it, that's what they came out that first drive and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. You come out and stop us. And they were able to move the ball down the field and get in the end zone. And they're boasting a 10-point lead right now with 6:18 left in the third quarter, with it being 20 for the Black Cats and 10 for the Rockets. Mexia's going to set to kick the ball off. They're going to kick from north to south, so they'll have that wind at their back. We'll see if they're going to kick it deep or if we're going to see that high bell ringer kick we've seen so much this season. And the ball's falling off the tee again, so they'll let him set it up one more time if it falls off again. Oh, yep, now falls off again, so we'll get someone to come and hold the ball for him. And with a left-footed kicker, I think they should have to put another player. Or they're not.
So
and
now we have
going to
someone
set to kick the ball off. And it's driven down to about the 20.
Oh, and it's a muff punt.
Bobbled and muffed. And Mexia dives down.
And looks like Robinson was able to get on it.
I think it bounced off of the Robinson rocket and bounced and was on the ground and just rolled right to another rocket, and they were able to get onto it. But we've seen that a couple times tonight where Robinson's had a little trouble fielding those kicks. We're going to watch that as the night goes on. They'll take over on their own 30-yard line to start their first possession of the second half.
So Mexia was able to run 6 minutes off the clock in the third quarter, and now with a two-score lead, that's what Mexia wants to do. Is they want to get a stop here with Robinson facing the ball in the wind and get the ball back and just run the score.
Right, you're leading now. You want to keep moving the ball, keep trying to get points if you can, but letting that clock turn down because it's your friend when you're up in the second half. Because the defense trots onto the field, Robinson sends their offense out.
As they change balls here, and Robinson's put their football out. Robinson comes out with twins to the top and twins to the bottom, with number 2 in the backfield with their quarterback, number 9. Snap back to 9, and they're just going to run like a little option.
And the quarterback keeps it, and he's hit and drug down right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1.
As the clock continues to run, Robinson runs to the line of scrimmage. They're going to go with trips to the top. They're going to have a man down here to the bottom. And number 2 is going to be in the backfield with number 9. And it's a fake snap, and he's going to throw straight out. And it's going to be a drop pass by Robinson. That's a little bubble screen.
That was close to being a lateral. They're going to say it was forward and mark it as an incomplete pass.
The defense was right on top of him, so he really didn't have – even if he'd caught the ball, there was nowhere for him to go, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 for Robinson. And they're going to come in a bunch formation with men trips to the right, but in a tight formation. Man down here to the bottom, it's going to be a snapback, and they're just going to cross. And a man crosses, and he's hit, and he drags a Black Cat for enough for a Robinson Rocket first down there. Is all they did was they crossed routes to pretty much have a
it's kind of like a natural pick and clear out route.
I was trying to go with pick for the Black Cats on their linebackers. and it was enough for a first down. So the Rockets have a 1st and 10 here at about their 45-yard line. Just a snap back and bad throw out here to the left, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10. As Robinson's trying to move the ball a little faster here, knowing that that clock's ticking down on them.
Yeah, they're kind of just standing at the line of scrimmage. The quarterback's getting the signal from the sideline. He's giving it out to his line, and they're trying to get up and go. They came out the second half, and they're trying to throw the ball a little bit more. There's just been some errant passes from the quarterback.
So they got twins to the top, to the bottom, and it's going to be a drop. Oh, there's Dawson Scott right there, and number 7's wide open across the middle, and he breaks down the right side.
And then he's brought down about the Mejia 22-yard line.
It's going to be a long run, long catch and run for the Robinson Rockets, as we're not for sure who had that broken coverage.
You know, it looks like right now they're just running a lot of crossing routes, and they're finding that receiver that's coming across the middle right behind the linebackers. They're getting it to him, and then he's got a lot of clear open space to run with the way they have their formation set up.
And he's
that's
going
a
to be
big
drove
hit.
into the ground by Lamarian Miller, and that's going to be a loss of about a yard. Was a little bubble screen down here to the left, and Lamarian Miller was right there to meet him for a loss of 2 yards on that bubble screen.
Yeah, Miller came downhill fast.
Those bubble screens really hasn't worked for them much tonight. What's worked for them is when they line up and trips one way and they run crossing routes across the field. You got one coming from the bottom, you got one coming from the top, and when they cross, that's what Robinson has beat Mejia on all night long. You got trips to the top and twins to the bottom here. Nobody in the backfield.
And
here's another crossing route, and it's going to be a tackle down to about the 15-yard line. Just simple crossing routes.
You know, and right now the defensive line's getting there, but they're just not getting there quick enough, and he's able to get it out of his hands to one of those crossers, and they're catching it, and then they're running with the other defensive backs having to clear out. Hand off to number 2, and he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and then
going to be a gain of about 3 yards. It should be enough for a first down. Robinson.
Yeah, and they just ran a quick play and gave it to number 2 to run around and get the first down. And it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Black Hat 11 for the Rockets as the number 9 goes up to the line of scrimmage, gives the play.
We got trips to the top and one to the bottom, and number 2's in the backfield with your quarterback number 9. Snap back, and he's going to roll, and he's going to have belly bump up to the left side. It's going to be a touchdown.
No, he's knocked down at the 1.
So that will look like be enough for a first down for the Robinson Rockets.
Should bring up 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, depending on the spot. Looks like, yeah, and Robinson's going to line up quick. Oh, and that's false start. There's no – I was going to say the whistle came late. But the running back started moving forward before the snap.
Was there ever a flag, though, or just a whistle?
I think they just blew the whistle. Nobody got their flag out their pocket.
Well, we don't want to throw one at home, I guess.
You know, and then.
Now that'll bring up 1st and goal from the 6, which makes a lot of difference.
Right. You know, and now Mejia needs to make sure they're aware of where number 7 is. 7 and 3 have been the 2 receivers that the quarterback has targeted tonight. 2 came out of the game, so you'll have a different running back in.
Looks like 31 or 34 has come in at the running back position. And you got 3, 6, 16, and 11 as wide receivers. 16 goes in motion to the top, and it's just going to be a rollout to the left.
And the quarterback's dragged down about the 2-yard line. It's going to bring up
second down and goal from about the 2-yard line. The main thing is Mejia's got that clock. It keeps on moving. And if they're able to get the ball and stop them here or hold them to a field goal would be really important for Mejia.
Right. You know, and snap back, and the quarterback's just going to keep it.
It's going to walk straight in for a touchdown for the Rockets.
He hops over the line and goes into the end zone.
So Robinson answers Mejia's touchdown.
You know, and there we saw the difference in the game in the 2 offensive schemes. Mejia was able to run it down the field against Robinson, and then Robinson came out, and they were just throwing those little crossing routes and moving the ball down the field with the pass. Kicks up, and it's good.
And that's going to bring it 20 for Mahia and 17 for Robinson.
Yes.
We got 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the third quarter. We're going to go to a timeout here. We'll bring back Black Cat football at Rocket Field. We're back at Rocket Field. The Rockets just answered the Black Cat score, and it brings score to 20-17. Mahia's leading, and Robinson's kicking off once again, and they'll be kicking off from the south end zone, kicking right to left as the Black Cats are lining up for an onside kick. And Robinson's getting ready to kick it, and the ball falls off the tee, and that's what happens when the wind's blowing 25 miles an hour, Wallace.
Yeah, we've seen it on every kickoff for both teams so far. They set it up on the tee the first time, and as they're getting ready to approach, the ball falls off. And right now we're playing, it looks like a little chess match. Robinson sets up one way, looking like they're going to kick an onside kick, and Mahia's hands team matches it up, and then now he's setting back up a different way, and then now he's back to the original side of the field.
And it's an onside kick, and Mahia covers it. That will be Hullum covers that onside kick.
So Mahia start about their own 42-yard line on this drive.
That'll be and you know what Mahia's going to do. You know what
Yeah.
Robinson's going to do from here on out, and you know what Mahia's going to do.
Right, and it's going to be this, we're going to see who can stop who on when they're doing it. In Mahia's line, they're huddled up over on the side of the field, and Robinson's defense is out waiting for them to come to the line of scrimmage, and here comes Mahia's offense.
So Mahia starts with twins to the top, and Jones and Wiley in the backfield with Proctor.
Robinson stacked with 9 in the box, and Wiley just trucks up the field for about 5 yards as he just pulls along a couple defenders. And that's a good first down play and run because it keeps you in good. Oh, it looks like it's about a gain of about 6. It's going to bring up 2nd and 4. Keep you ahead of the chains as Robinson tries to make a late defensive substitution. And they catch a man on the field,
And
but
they're not going to call it.
there's no flag thrown. But Wiley,
How do you not throw
no,
a flag?
that's Jones is able to get around the edge and get enough for a first down.
How
But
do you
yeah,
not throw a flag for 12 men on the field?
when you see him make a late sub and the guy's trying to get off the field and they snap it.
I don't see this guy over here. I'm looking right at him, and he run
Yeah,
right by that ref.
the line judge is standing right there. The snap came with the man about the numbers trying to get off the field.
It's just hilarious watching these refs these days.
And there was no flag thrown, but Mahia picks up the first down. They'll snap it.
It's going to be a handoff to Wilder.
No, Proctor keeps it, and he gets brought down about the 44-yard line of
I think if
Robinson.
Proctor would have let Wiley have that one, he'd have went to the house on that one.
Yeah.
There was nobody around Wiley. I'm talking about every defender went with Proctor on that one. Nobody was with Wiley.
And that's one thing we've seen tonight when they've run the little read option. There's a lot of those guys are going with Proctor, and now we have Wiley and Jones in the backfield together again. Snaps back, handoff this time to Wiley, and there's a host of Rockets there waiting for him as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. This is going to bring up 3rd and about 8, a long 7. Mahia has the ball on the Robinson 44-yard line. You're in the situation again where you're trying to answer a score from Robinson, so you want to keep this drive alive, so you need to get at least a first down. And Proctor rolls out. Oh, and he has a receiver down the field, and he throws it, and it's
drops it.
It's incomplete and intended for Evan Harrison, who was running a deep post. And he laid out for the ball, but he wasn't able to haul it in. It's going to bring up 4th and about 8 from the 44. And Mejia's running out their punt unit.
As Holm will be back to punt this one. Snap back to Holm here.
Oh, and again, it's a short, and it takes him a hair bounce, and it rolls to about the 16-yard line. And as they switch fields, we're going to take it to a timeout.
Come back to to Rocket Field. The Black Cats are leading 20-17. Robinson getting the ball back on their own 16-yard line here. They got twins to the top and twins to the bottom. And they're just going to do a quarterback run up the middle. And he breaks outside, and he's able to be tackled by
gain of about a yard or two on the play. We got a couple Black Cats down on the field.
Mejia calls a timeout.
Looking across the field,
trying to stop Robinson and make him punt into the wind one more time.
I can't see who that is on the ground.
It looked like it had a 7 in
Yeah,
the
it looks
number.
like it might be 17.
And it looks like he might be cramping. And how you would be cramping on a night like this, I have no – Will Coleman is –
I don't know if he's cramping or if he got his legs rolled up on at the end of that run. But he looks like he's reaching and grabbing for his legs. And now as all the training staff gets around and huddles around, you can't really see who it is, but we're going to hope whoever it is all right. You know, you don't want to see any of the players get hurt during the game or any other time. So we're going to let the training staff tend to the player who's down. And as they do that, you know, Mejia's had good drives, and even on that drive, they were able to move the ball down the field, and then they just stalled out. You know, and so now
they
the
have
defense.
been getting first down, handing the ball to Wiley and Jones, handing the ball to them, getting 5-6 yards of carry, and it seemed like we played once again. We go to like a little trick type play, and we didn't gain but 1 or 2 yards.
You know, and so now it's going to be big for the Mejia defense to come up with a stop here, and get the offense back on the field to try to go ahead, so you can stay ahead on the scoreboard of Robinson. You don't want to let them go down and get points here and either tie it up or go ahead. Then you're playing from behind. So you want the defense to be able to step up and get a stop. And that was number 17, Will Coleman, that's down, as they help him to his feet, and he's able to walk off to the sideline.
So they get him over to the sideline. He's walking really stiff, so you would think in hot weather that would be a cramp, but tonight, being as cool as it is, you really wouldn't think cramping would be a problem.
It could be a number of things that you're going to hope the best for him, and hopefully maybe it is just a cramp and he's able to stretch it out over there and get back on the field. But
the thing is, Mejia took a timeout, or they have Robinson taking the timeout, but surely it wasn't.
It should have been an official's timeout.
And
then there's a handoff for Robinson, and the running back just gashes Mejia.
He's just running through everybody. He's going to outrun. He's pushed out by number 2 at about the 28-yard line.
You know, and he bounced over to the cornerback, and the cornerback didn't even tackle him. He just turned and ran with him. You know, we're going to have to get out, and we got to tackle and make sure we bring him down, because that's not what you expect out of Robinson, but they were able to gash Mejia right there for a big gain. as the ball is actually being spotted at the Mexia 30-yard line. It's a handoff again to 7, and he's hit and brought. Oh, we have illegal procedure by the Rockets.
Still, I don't see a flag on the field.
There wasn't a flag. It was just a whistle to stop the play, and they'll mark him back 5 yards and place the ball at the Mexia 35-yard line. So it'll bring up 1st and 15 for the Rockets. You know, and that's something that that may have been about the second penalty we've seen against Robinson. Mejia's going to have to take advantage of it and try to use that to help the defense get the Rocket offense off the field here.
As they come back on with the play, you got Twins down here to the bottom, and there's 2 running backs in the backfield, which is new for the Rockets. And they're just going to hand off to 31.
And
he's going to be stopped at about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, maybe got a half a yard on that.
And that should be the last play of the third quarter.
And I think Robinson's going to let it go down so they can switch the field.
They want the ball behind them.
And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter with Mexia leading 20-17 over the Robinson Rockets. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with fourth quarter action from Robinson Rocket Field. This is your Mexia Black Cat football.
As we come back to Rocket Field, start of the fourth quarter, Mejia's leading Robinson 20-17 by 3. We got trips to the top and one to the bottom as Robinson's driving.
Going to be a snap back to the quarterback. He drops
drop.
back, and he got Dawson Scott. Oh, and he fumbles the ball. And Mexia picks up the fumble.
And
Dawson Scott.
Black Cat football.
Dawson Scott was able to get around the edge that time and hit the quarterback as he pulled the ball back. The ball fell out, and Connor McNeil caught it out of the air and just then went down to the ground.
As Mexia gets a break here.
And that was a big play from Mexia. They needed that as Robinson had started moving down the field. And to start the fourth quarter, Mexia forces a turnover, and they'll get the ball, and they'll get to go on offense again, moving from south to north down the field. Mexia, it'd be good for Mexia to be able to punch this ball in the end zone here and add to their lead.
Yes, and the thing about the wind is the way Mejia's played tonight, the wind's not really going to factor much for Mexia.
Right.
Because they've just lined up and run the ball most of the time tonight. So Robinson's got 9 men in the box right here. So let's see what they do. And it's going to be a handoff to Wiley.
And he brushed through the middle, and he's pulling.
He's going to get about an 11-yard gain.
Yeah, there's going to be enough for him to have first down. As that, and like we said earlier, you're in the fourth quarter now, and you've been kind of just pounding it at Robinson, pounding it at him. And you got to think that offensive line is going to start wearing the defensive line down, and that's when you're going to get those holes like we just saw.
And Robinson's lining up again with 9 men in the box, and it's just a handoff to Wiley in the middle, and he breaks
loose.
Tackle,
and he's turning and moving the pile, and his linemen are behind him.
For a 15-yard gain down to the 36-yard line of the Robinson Rockets.
And now this is the point where it looks like Mexia said, we're going to run at you, and Wiley saying, you're not going to stop me.
This is Wiley's show right here.
And right here you got Wiley and Jones in the backfield. And so you don't see them changing anything until you can stop it.
No. This is where you say, hey,
We're going to give it.
see what plays we've been running. Let's see where we've gashed them, and let's just trade downs right here. One down we run this play, one down we're running that play.
Let's hand off to Wiley again.
And he's going to be stopped for about a 1 yard gain. And this is once again where we're talking here tonight. When we get the 5 and 6, 7 yard gain, we're able to keep those chains moving. When we get that 1 or 2 yard gain on first down is where we tend to run into some problems. So
Right, and so second down becomes real important. You want to be able to try to get some yards here to either get a first down or make the third down manageable, and you don't get in that third and long situation.
And Robinson's just saying, hey, all they're going to do is load up and throw it and run it. So we're putting 9 men in the box.
And that's what we've seen. They're man-to-man outside. And Wiley,
Proctor
pulls it, and he's around the edge. Oh, and he gives a juke move to
24, where's your shoes at, buddy?
Yeah, and he just gave him, looked like a little Allen Iverson crossover over there on the far sideline. And 24 just didn't know where he was going.
I think they broke the chains over there. Proctor broke the chains plus 24.
He's going to bring up third down and about 4.
They going to call him out of bounds. That early looked like he'd gotten closer to the first down, but
yeah,
so the Black Cats have a 3rd and 4 here, lining up. It's going to be a snap off and hand off to Wiley.
Hand off to Wiley. He's around the edge, and he
falls.
Oh, he breaks loose.
He's gonna go
and he cuts. And he's in the end zone. And there's going to be a flag there on, I'm not sure what the call is going to be, as there was an offensive lineman blocking downfield.
They're going to call a holding.
And I think they're going to get a holding, but he was blocking downfield, and the man tried to spin move and go around him, and he just let him go. The blocker fell to the ground, and the defender tried to make the tackle.
That's still going to be enough for a first down, and that'll just keep the clock moving for the Black Cats.
Yeah, and even after the penalty marked off, it will be a first down for the Black Cats. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line of the Rockets. And Mejia's offense, again, moves the chains and gives themselves a new set of downs.
And the clock will start back up right here as Mejia comes back to the line with 1st and 10.
And Proctor pulls it, and he cuts through, and he gashes the middle of the defense down for about 10 yards.
It's going to be a 9-yard gain. Man, every time after that play, all them guys keep diving after the play. It makes you think there's a fumble down there on the field.
Right, but it looks like some last-minute diving to try to hit people, and it's not blockers going to block. It's some extra blue jerseys diving into the pile after the play.
So we got 9 minutes and 20 seconds left here. Mejia's driving once again. We got Proctor in the backfield with Wiley to his left and Jones flanked to the right. It's going to be a snap back and hand off to Wiley up the middle.
He just drives through the middle.
Churning.
Yeah, and he pushes, and Mejia, that line gets – and they blew the whistle dead, but as he was still moving the pile, and his lineman got behind him to help push. And I think that whistle may have came a little early there for Mejia. But anyways, it's going to be spotted at the Robinson 6-yard line. It'll bring up 1st and goal from the 6.
And surely, Mejia will just line up and just run at them. That's what they've done
right,
for the whole second half.
You don't change anything and take any risk. You don't have to right here. This is 4-down territory because you're going into that win. You don't want to take a chance on kicking the ball. You can take 4 downs and get into the end zone and keep driving the ball like you've been doing. Hand off to Wiley, and
he's going to be brought down about the 5.
Yeah, it's about a 1-yard gain on that. It'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 5.
To me, if we would have ran to the wide side of the field, that gives your speed a lot more chance to go around the corner there. And Trey, nobody went with the up back. They're all keying on Wiley and Jones here, and Trey went to the right, and not one blue defender went with him. So it'll be 2nd down and goal from the 5. Mejia's just running clock here. Hand off to Wiley.
He's up the middle.
And he's going to go in for a touchdown, Black Cats.
Yeah, and that was Mejia just doing what they said that they were going to do, and we're going to run straight at you. They were able to run over 4 minutes off the clock on that possession. And they ended up getting in the end zone and getting 6 out of it, and they're going to line up for a field goal extra point to try to add to their lead. And it's going to be number 58 again who's teeing it up as Hullum's on the
60.
hole. Oh, 60. I'm sorry, number 60.
And it's going to be up.
Up, and the kick is good. And so Mejia's going to bring their lead to 27-17 with 7:40 left in the fourth quarter.
And that the one thing, let's not get too carried away here with a 10-point lead here, because the one thing about the Robinson Rockets is they are a quick score offense with their passing attack.
Right, and you know the Mejia defense is going to have to come out again like they did on the last possession and really buckle down and get after the quarterback and hopefully make it cause another turnover or just get a stop and get your offense the ball back. Because if you're getting your offense the ball back, you're letting the offense has been running all night and letting the clock churn down.
Yes.
And right now with 7:40 left, you're up 10. So it's a 2-possession game. You want to limit the possessions Robinson's able to get and burn clock. So if Robinson's got the ball, you got to make tackles and stop the ball so that they're running clock. And then you want to get the ball back to your offense so you're in control of how the clock runs. And so Martinez will tee up the ball for the kickoff. Mejia will be kicking from south to north. They'll be kicking into the wind. The kick's up, and it's a high.
It's going to bounce in the middle of
and he, number
seven.
has
caught it, and he's at about the 46-yard line. It looked like he juggled that a little bit to start with, but then everybody just looked at him like it was a fair catch.
And you know what? It looked like one of the other players called fair catch, so the Mejia coverage team was gearing down, and then 7 ran up from the back and caught it. And if another player calls fair catch, it's supposed to be fair catch for anybody on the field who catches the ball.
Well,
not
they
just
are
that
marking
player.
it back where he caught the ball
Okay.
instead of where he continued to. So,
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. The up back actually called for fair catch, even though he didn't catch it. It's still that fair catch signal stands for whoever catches the ball. So 7 shouldn't have been able to advance
so
it.
we're going to have twins to the top and twins to the bottom with one man in the backfield. It's just going to be a straight drop back. And he's going to throw it out here.
Throws it out to the running back out of the backfield. And Mejia's there to tackle him, but
after about
it's going to be an 8-yard gain.
And the clock will continue to run because he was tackled inbounds. And that's exactly what Mejia wants, is the clock to run here.
Right, and now you really want those ends to start getting after the quarterback. If they can get after the quarterback and get some pressure on him, maybe.
We got trips to the top and twins down here to the bottom for Mejia. We got holding out here.
You know.
Well, we ain't gonna call that, I guess.
I don't think there's been a holding call against the Rockets all game. And that time I looked up and Dawson Scott was running down the line of scrimmage with a Robinson Rocket arm wrapped around his neck. And then out here on the cornerback, Jaden Proctor was getting held. So
I'm not.
Here we go. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the Mejia 40. And it's just a quick pass out to number 6 out in the flat. And he's tackled and brought down by Jaden Proctor over here on the sideline. It's a gain of about 6 or 7.
The way they're playing their defense, they're just going to let them have that play. They don't
Right.
run it over the top.
Yeah, right here, if you're just going to throw those little out passes, they're going to cover it and do what they need to get the tackle. And he looks to pump it and tries to
Hits him
and he gets a man across the middle.
One more time, crossing routes.
And that was just the receiver breaking and running when the quarterback started to scramble, because they tried to fake the little out pass and then run the blocker up the field, and Proctor stayed with him, but he broke the route off and cut across the middle and got himself open.
Snap back, just straight drop back.
Yeah, and right now
Another crossing route.
and he's going to be in for a touchdown.
Touchdown, Robinson.
And right now the quarterback's just having forever to throw the ball on that drive. We weren't getting any pressure on back in the backfield on the quarterback, and he was just standing tall, finding his receivers. So as the fourth quarter goes, the pass rush is gonna have to keep pushing and getting back there to the quarterback to affect his timing, to affect his feet, and to affect the amount of time he has to find a receiver. And they're going to go for the extra point here. The snap's back, it's down, and the kick is up and good.
And here we get a flag for roughing the kicker.
You know, that's no different from that very first extra point my head kicked.
It's hilarious is what it is.
And there was no flag thrown, and now there's a flag thrown against Mejia, where the man literally had gone past the ball whenever he kicked it, and then the kicker landed on him and fell down.
I cannot. I didn't even know if that referee had his flag with him or not. He ain't thrown it very much tonight. He just blows his whistle and goes on about his business. Nice to see he didn't forget his yellow flag at the house. But that, you're right. That's no different than the play for Mejia when we missed the extra point and should have got another chance at it.
So here you'll get Robinson coming out to kick off. Mejia's coverage team is out on the field ready for the kickoff. I mean their return team. And I'm guessing that they're going to mark the penalty off from the
No,
they declined it and counted the extra point. So they'll get the ball at the kickoff from the 40. Mejia's return team is out waiting for the Rocket kick team to take the field, and now as they do, Mejia moves up into position. And
well,
the ball
Robinson will be
falls,
kicking off from the north end of the field to the south end.
and they'll have to bring someone out to hold the ball as it falls off the tee again. And as they get it set up, they're going to try it without a holder. And it's going to be a deep kick this time. And Proctor goes back to field it, and it's going to get into the end zone for a touchback.
Mejia will be starting at their own 25-yard line, and their whole process of this is to stay in front of the chains,
Right.
and just to run the clock out here with 6 minutes and 36 seconds left.
Right. If you can move down and get a score, you get a score. If not, you want to burn this clock right here. You're up 3. You see how quick Robinson can move the ball and score with the pass. So you don't want to give them a chance to get the ball back with time and being able to come down and take the lead. So you want to move the ball and be able to get points on the board. So Mejia's offense takes the field. And it'll be Jones and Wiley in the backfield with Proctor again.
Twins down here to the bottom, Harrison and Holdman.
They hand off to Trey Jones, and he finds a little crease, and he wiggles up the field for about 3 yards.
As Mejia, it's real important to get at least 4 or 5 first downs and burn this clock as much as you can.
Right, because right now Robinson has all 3 timeouts, and so does Mejia. So as the clock starts running, they're going to use timeouts to try to give themselves a chance. So Mejia needs to stay in control of the ball, and we get a snap back to Proctor. And he's letting the play clock run down as far as he can, and he'll snap it with 2 seconds left. A handoff to Wiley, and they're able to stretch it out for maybe a gain of maybe 1. It's going to bring up 3rd and a long 6. And this is what Mejia didn't want to get into. They didn't want to get into 3rd and long, so they're going to have to be able to drive and go get a first down here, because you don't want to just turn it over and give it back to Conley. You got to stay on, keep the ball in your hands and be in control of the game.
Mejia comes to the line.
Back to Robinson. I'm sorry on that. And it's going to be Proctor on signal, snap back, and Proctor keeps it. And he's on his feet and he's out running.
He's
and
across
this is enough
the 50,
for a first down.
40, face mask. There we go. We get a flag. On the 35-yard line, he goes out of bounds, and here come a flag from the back end. And that was a heck of a fake by Jaden Proctor.
Yeah, it
And
was. He rode that handoff off to the last second, and when he saw the defensive line open up, he pulled it out and he just darted through the middle and up the field and out to the right side.
He went out of bounds at the 35. Why do they have him at the
And
40?
they're marking.
He runs straight out of bounds at the 35.
You know, and we're sitting here watching, and you can see him step out, and they mark him. They say that he stepped out about 4 or 5 yards back further than he actually went out of bounds, and then marked the penalty off.
So that puts Mejia and Robinson territory at their own 25, at the Robinson 25.
Snap back to Proctor, handoff to Wiley. He
breaks
cuts,
one, makes
and he
one
gets
cut,
out to
he's
the
out
outside.
and you ain't going to catch him.
And he's into the end zone.
Touchdown, Black Cats.
That's another touchdown for Jarrell Wiley, and a great run as he bounced off the right edge of the offensive line and just outran everybody to that pylon over in the corner.
So that's going to put Mejia up by 9 right now with 4 minutes and 53 seconds left. As number 60 for the Black Cats has come back out to attempt the extra point. Snap back, ball down, kick is up.
And it's good.
And that puts Mejia back up by 10 with 4 minutes and 53 seconds left.
And there's some extra jawing and talking here from number 8 on the blue, and the officials are sitting there shooing them away from him as Mejia jogs back to their sideline.
I'm glad they got that penalty on Jaden, because that's the third time tonight we've had a Black Cat turned completely around by a face mask.
Right.
And for some reason, we seem to not want to throw the yellow laundry out on the field for Robinson.
Right.
But then they mark him 5 yards back from where he run out of bounds at.
And it looks like he marked him from where the face mask occurred instead of where he went out of bounds. But Mejia was able to punch that in and increase their lead to 10 again, and they're up 34-24 with 4:53 left, and Mejia will be kicking off to Robinson. And we've seen it. Mejia scored. Robinson's come back and answered. Right now with 4:53 left, you want to be able to limit their possessions, or you want to get a stop here, keep them out of the end zone, and hopefully get the ball back and then try to run this clock on out.
The difference in the game so far has been that one turnover that the Black Cats were able to get
Right.
from Dawson Scott. He did exactly what we talked about. He broke to the outside. He curled back around, and, he hit the quarterback as he was going to throw it, knocked it out. And it looked like after it bounced around for a minute that Dawson ended up with the recovery as well. So that play right there has changed the game and kept Mejia up by 10 the whole game.
Oh, we get a little squib kick by Mejia, and it's going to be caught and fielded there on the Robinson 31 or 32 yard line.
So Robinson will this will be the first bad field position for either team really in the second half, as he just fumbled the kickoff there, and he had to fall on top of it before Mejia got down there. So Robinson will have the ball with the wind behind their back with 4 minutes and 53. Hey, how come no time fell off the clock? You mean tell me that we can touch it, fumble it?
It's because he fell down. He was on his knee when he touched the ball, so the clock technically didn't start.
Okay. But when you fumble the ball, there's still a second there, but okay. So Robinson's coming up with twins to the bottom and trips to the top, which you pretty much know the rest of this game is going to be all passing by Robinson.
Right. And you got to expect those crossing routes that we've seen them run and them trying to get it out here quick. Oh, and Mejia sniffs that out, and T.C. Kennedy is all over the receiver.
Be a gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards. Yeah. And that'll keep the clock running.
Oh, and got a Black Hat down.
And you got to get up and get off the field so your clock keeps running.
Yeah, you don't want them to stop the clock right here.
Come on, guys, get off the field.
And you got a player down, so you want to make sure the player's all right more so than anything else.
And so it looked like, and that's Kennedy that made an awesome play there.
Right, and I'm not sure what it was.
It looked very clean. He hit him from the side and fell on top of him. Of course, when you're in them scrums, there's no telling. You could take an elbow to the low spot, or you could take it to the stomach and knock your breath out. But, it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't like a big hit or a big collision between other players and him. It was just him going out and hitting the receiver and bringing him down.
And he made a good read there. That was a really good read by him on that bubble screen.
Right. He saw the quarterback turn, and he beelined straight to that receiver and was able to get there and limit the yardage by him. But we're gonna hope that he's all right over there. He's
Looks
up
more
to-
like air.
Yeah,
he
maybe
lost his
so.
air there.
He's up to his knees and he's walking off under his own power. So, like you said,
And
it
he's
may
played a heck of a game.
yeah,
tonight.
it may on a play like that, it may been that he landed wrong, and we can all feel that pain.
Oh yeah.
And so
There's nothing worse than trying to go for a breath of air and there not being nothing there.
So we're gonna hope he goes to the sidelines, able to catch his breath, and he comes back out on the field as
We got
Robinson.
Twins to the top and twins to the bottom with one running back, and it's just a straight
Snap back.
drop back.
Oh, and Dawson Scott's
is
there. Oh, and it's an overthrow.
Oh, and if Prince would have looked up and he had ball right at his helmet, I mean, it was an easy
Oh, and now
catch.
Now the Robinson quarterback is down, and he took a shot from Dawson Scott because Dawson was right in his face as he let that ball go.
Prince, that ball almost hit him in the face mask.
Right.
And if he would have just looked up, that would have been a easy catch and walk into the end zone and put you up by 17 points. And this is what we talk about every game when you get down to the last 5-6 minutes of a game. Whether it's close or it's a blowout, you hate to see these kids being
Right.
hurt laying on the field.
Exactly, and you want to hope that each and every one is nothing serious and they're able to get up and come back from it. That time the quarterback he was exposed because Dawson Scott beat his man off the edge, and right as the quarterback opened himself up to throw, Dawson was putting his shoulders right into his chest area, and he tackled him. And
It looks like it might be a loss of breath as well, the way the trainers are sitting him up, wanting him to catch his breath. But, yeah, that's the last thing you want to see is players down
right.
on back-to-back plays.
And you don't want to see it from either team because this late in the game,
He looks a little wobbly.
yeah, he's been helped off, and
He's walking sideways.
he's not walking as straight as you would hope. So hopefully that training staff over there will get him over and they'll check him out, and we're gonna hope that kid is
Yes,
all right
we don't want any injuries from
and
anybody.
he's able to come back because Robinson, like we said at the beginning of the game, they have a shot to make it to the postseason, and you want to be full strength going down the stretch trying to get into the playoffs. So Robinson will replace the quarterback here, and they'll line up and take a snap back, hand off to number 7 out around the left side, and he's run out of bounds right at looks to be
right at the line of scrimmage.
right at the line of scrimmage.
And that's what's tough, to lose your quarterback with this much time left in the game, because you're used to that quarterback dropping back and throwing, and now you've got to put your backup in there.
Right.
Is he able to throw like your first one? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
Right, and it's those little bitty things that can be different because the timing may not be the same, the arm strength.
Oh, well, we got a different quarterback in there this time.
Oh, yep. Now, looks like they might go to the Wildcat approach. They just put 7 back in the backfield.
Got a straight drop back.
3, and he throws it. Oh,
And that's
yeah.
going to be a drop ball across the middle.
And you
And
know,
it's Holdman on the play.
and that was number 7 who's
Was that
been.
fourth down for Robinson?
Yeah, it was. And and that was number 7 coming across the middle, and we've seen him connect with the quarterback all night on that crossing route.
Yes.
And that time, that ball comes out different from the new quarterback than it does from the other one, and 7 wasn't able to hold on to it.
Well, Mejia's going to come back and be on offense. And, of course, there's only 4 minutes left. And one big play right here puts this game out of reach.
And if you don't get the big play, you want to run this clock down. You're up 2 possessions. You don't want to give the ball back to Robinson at all here. And if you do, you want to give it to him with as little time on the clock as possible. And Wiley just scoots ahead.
Don't tell Wiley that, because Wiley's just going to go ahead and break about another 45-yarder and be done with it.
And we're sitting here watching, and he scoots out, and he doesn't land until probably the 38-yard line, and they're marking it on the opposite side of the 40.
Well, we don't make his stats look too big over here in Waco.
Yeah, and the one thing, though, is in the field of play is going to keep the clock running. Mejia's going to take their time getting up to the line of scrimmage and let that play clock run down as far as they can before they snap it. Right now, you want to drain as many seconds off the clock
Oh,
as you
for sure.
can with each play. And Proctor will wait, and he'll snap it with 1 second left.
Hand off to Wiley, breaks
again,
up the middle.
and
Another 3-yard gain.
right.
And Robinson's going to take a timeout here.
You know, and this is where you don't want to start. You want to get a first down because you know Robinson's going to start using their timeouts to try to stop the clock and get the ball back. So you want to try to run and get you a first down and get a new set of downs to try to keep them from being able to hold the clock up.
Yes, for sure. Because that quarterback they had just ended that drive. He didn't look like he didn't mind throwing that ball either.
No.
He looked very comfortable back there throwing that crossing route. So we sure need to, as the Black Cats, need to keep this ball and run this clock out.
And Mejia's trotting back out to the ball as their offense comes out. Robinson's defense comes back out. It's going to be 3rd and about 5 from the Robinson 37-yard line. We're going to see if Mejia is going to be able to punch that ball in. Right here, Jeremy, I think you might be in four down territory. And it's a handoff. And Jones just hops.
Oh, Jones says, I want to take this one to the house myself.
And he just runs over and he gets down. He's pulled down at the 10-yard line, and he's upset that he didn't get in the end zone on that one.
He wanted pay dirt.
You know, and he made a great move in the hole that time to hop away from the defender, and then he just exploded away from and accelerated from the defense and got down to the 10-yard line. That's going to bring up 1st and goal from the 10 for Mejia. With the clock runs, you know, they're not going to snap this ball to under 3 minutes, you know, and with the new set of downs, Robinson is only going to be able to stop the clock so many times, and Mejia should be able to run the clock on down to under a minute in this possession alone, unless they score before then. And it'll be Wiley with the handoff, and he'll take it down to about the 9-yard line. Mejia will stand, and they'll let the clock run down again as they look to the sideline for the play. Proctor will give it to his linemen and his players as they hold and wait for the clock to run down. They'll break the huddle with 10 seconds on the play clock and then get down and get ready for the snap. Proctor will let the clock keep running, and he'll clap and snap the ball with 1 second on the play clock.
Wiley breaks up the middle,
and he just drags defenders into the end zone.
Wiley says, why not one more time tonight? Touchdown, Black Cats.
And that brings the score to Mejia 40, Robinson 24, with Mejia coming out for the extra point attempt. It'll be number 60 again who sets the tee and gets ready and marks off his steps and gets ready to kick the ball up. You know, and we talked about it, Jeremy. We talked about it, Jeremy, at the beginning of the second half, how Mejia needed to come out and establish themselves and really do what they needed to separate themselves from Robinson in the second half, and that's exactly what they did.
Yes, they were just lined up and said, "I'm running at you," and they run at them.
Right, and they just wore them down. They wore the Robinson defense down in the fourth quarter, and they were just able to punch the ball into the end zone over and over to spread this lead out to 41-24 with 1:56 left. It was a 3-point game at halftime.
So that puts Mejia at 3-1 on the year, and it looked like Salado was winning tonight. So that's going to put it at 3-1 for both of them next week at Black Cat Field. It'll be a big game.
And Fairfield fell to Connolly tonight, or down to Connolly tonight, and so the Eagles will drop to probably 2-2 in the district race. Mejia, if the score holds up, barring any miraculous events from Robinson, Mejia will move to 3-1 in district. Looking at the standings, Connolly stayed undefeated in the district, and so they'll take over or they'll stay in sole possession of first place. And a final for Salado beat Madisonville 43-15 tonight. So they'll come into Mejia next week at 3-1 in the district as well. And so those two teams will be playing next week for sole possession of second place in the district as it's gone final across town as Connolly beat Fairfield 40-35. So Connolly will move to 4-0 in district or 5-0 in district. Fairfield will drop to 2-2, and you'll have Madisonville, I believe, at 0-4, and Lorena, who was idle tonight, at 1-2.
So what, Robinson will come out and pass?
Quarterback will drop back. Number 3, he's flushed out of the pocket, and as he comes up, he'll throw it, and it's intercepted by Lamarian Miller. And he crosses the field, and he's running up the left side of the field, and he cuts back, and he's still running. And the Robinson is able to drag him out. Oh, and there's going to be a flag at the end of the play as a Robinson player, after Lamarian Miller had been drug out of bounds, jumps on top of him as he's trying to get up. So on top of the interception, there will be a personal foul penalty tacked on to that, which from the end of the run will probably be half the distance to the goal. Mejia will have the ball. Mejia will have the ball at about the 10-yard line, 9 or 10-yard line of Robinson, as they were able to get that interception and a big return from Miller. And here, there's 1:37 left in the fourth quarter. You're up 41-24. You expect Mejia to probably come out and just run the clock out, as Robinson does still have 2 timeouts that they could call to try to stop the clock. But you have to expect, Mejia's going to line up in the victory formation, and they're going to snap the ball and just run the clock out. And Proctor retreats a couple steps and takes a knee down to the Robinson 12-yard line. So they'll move the ball back, and the clock will run down. And, barring anything happening or Robinson calling timeouts, Mejia will snap the ball 2 more times and run the clock all the way out, and they'll come away with a victory. And on that last play, number 3 was just the quarterback for Robinson was just trying to make a play. The defensive end came screaming off the edge and forced him to roll out to his left, and he was rolling out, and he tried to make a throw to a receiver, and the ball just sailed on him and carried over the receiver's head, and Miller was there, and he just put his hands up and caught it, and it looked like he was just returning a kick, like the pass was actually meant for him. He caught it, and he just came across the field to return it, and Mejia's just taking knees and running it out. They'll have to snap the ball one more time. And as they snap the ball this last time, they'll let the clock run down to zeros, and that'll be a victory, another victory for the Mejia Black Hats. As they, again, as we said earlier, Mejia will move to 3-1 in district play and 4-3 overall, as they have the Salado coming to town on next Friday night. We'll be back to bring you the Mejia Black Hats versus Salado at Black Hat Field in Mejia. We want to congratulate the Black Hats on the win. We want to say a great job to the Robinson Rockets, as their young men came out and played a hard game, a hard-fought game, played right with Mejia, and it was a close game, Freddie, there from the jump through the first half. It remained basically a 3-point game the whole time, and then through the third quarter, it was still basically a 3-point game. Mejia was able to stay ahead and move it up to 10, but Robinson, they would answer back and cut it back to 3. And then in the fourth quarter, it's like looks like Mejia's offensive line just wore the Robinson defensive line and defense out, and those holes got big, and Mejia just began to gash the Robinson Rockets and move the ball up and down the field and get some big plays. And then again, like we stated earlier, there's that big play by Dawson Scott where he was able to come off the edge and get to the quarterback as he was throwing, forced the fumble, and Mejia was able to recover. And then they went down the field and they scored again, which kept them up ahead. And then Robinson came out, and Robinson was able to answer one more time and bring the score back to within 3. And then Mejia just took off from there. They were able to score, get a stop, and then score again. And then the lead just widened and widened even further for Mejia as it brought a final score of 41-24. You know, again, as we stated earlier, we did not have our statisticians with us today, so we weren't able to bring you the stats right now. However, we will try to get with them sometime and make sure that we let you all know when we come back on our broadcast or by posting it on the site. Again, you know, for those who weren't able to make it here to the game, looking over, we know the weather hasn't been ideal. It's cold. A lot of people weren't able to make the trip, but we are here to bring you coverage of the Mejia Black Cat athletic sports this year. If you're not able to be here, tune in to the broadcast. If anyone you know is not able to be here, let them know that they can tune into the broadcast and hear the Black Cat games brought to them over this stream. So we want to thank our sponsors at Greer & Greer Mobile Detail, Napa Auto Parts, Joe Friday's Diner, Woodman's Life Insurance,
And Mejia Sports Network.
And Mejia Sports Network. It's Wallace High, Jeremy Sunday, and Freddie Greer bringing you the Black Cats game again as we were able to bring you another victory for Mejia as they topped the Robinson Rockets 41-24 tonight. And again, it's always a great day to be a Black Cat, and we'll if you tune in, we'll be back with you on next Friday.
Also, I want to just say for the Posey Napa Auto Parts player of the game, we'll go to Jarrell Wiley.
Okay.
What's his name, real quick?
You're listening to Mixia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer & Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
Today's game brought to you by Eagle Auto Parts, located on Main Street. For more information, visit eagleauto.com. Today's game brought to you by